is it. This is our ground zero. Look around you. Week 9 is now at its point of no return. Dear all, a warm welcome to the main event of this year's CBS case competition. My name is Troels, and I will be your modifier for this afternoon's event. Let me start by letting you know how grateful I am to have the opportunity to spend an afternoon in your company, and especially under these amazing settings. I for one believe that we are about to see something truly out of the ordinary unfold, and that we, here today, in this room, will have a lifetime experience. For those of you who have been involved in one way or another, or maybe just have walked through CBS one of the past few weeks, will know that these moments right in front of us represents the culmination of endless hours of hard work, planning, collaboration, and above all, ambition. Therefore, I think it's fair to assume that you and I are in for quite a treat this afternoon. But before all of this can materialize, there are a few practicalities that are due, so that all may have an equally pleasant afternoon. First, it is very important that you turn off all your mobile communication devices. Second, I would ask you not to leave the room outside the break in order for you not to disturb the finalists while on stage. So, sit back, make yourself comfortable, because we are in this together for the next couple of hours. In a moment, we'll have a few things lined up for you to set the stage of this year's competition. In total, this afternoon, we have 3 competing teams. After the second presentation, we'll have a short break scheduled for you. Thereafter, we have been assigned an important task. We will vote on who is the best presenter. Therefore, keep your mind open to the characteristics that you find to be essential for a good presenter as the teams perform the presentations. Additionally, we have arranged a surprise live hack for you while we await the outcome of the deliberation of the jury. After this, the winners of the CBS case competition will be announced. Now, we will introduce the backbone of today's competition. So please sit up straight and turn towards the door and help me to give the jury the warmest welcome they have ever experienced.
Chairman of the CBS Case Competition Jury, Managing Partner at FEH Partners, Ole Andersen, Chairman of the Board of Directors of several large listed companies, Eva Danneke, Senior Executive Vice President at TDC, Lone Føn Schrøder, Co-founding Partner of Nordfald, Bjørn Kuno Rasmussen, Chairman of Lundbeck Foundation, LFI, Tryghedsgruppen, and Tryg Insurance. Nada Musavizadeh, co-founder and partner of Macro Advisory Partners. Peter Inga Jensen, economist and senior advisor, former CEO of Nykredit. Jukka Pertola, CEO of Siemens Denmark. Steffen Strade, CEO of Copenhagen Zoo. Peter Gjørts Carlsen, Executive Vice President at Arla Foods. Jakob Skamby, Chief Commercial Officer at Velux. Jens Jami, Vice President of Digital Media and Content Production at Carlsberg Group. Anders Goltz, CEO of Deloitte Denmark. Martin Ernst, Senior Vice President, Head of Nordic at Saxo Bank. Majbrit Poulsen, Partner and Managing Director at BCG. Mette Kirstine Agger, Managing Partner at Lundbeck Ventures. And now, we will step right into the core program of today by showing you the case company video of 2014, presenting the challenges and the background information on which the presentations that we're about to see is based. Enjoy.
We are on the path from crisis to recovery. However, this also means that things are happening at an ever faster pace. Everyday decisions, from the mundane to the profound, challenge the balance of career, family, and individual needs. With only 24 hours per day, how do you make sure to spend time in the best possible manner? Whether it's working out, going to a concert, or spending time with your family. There's an abundance of choice. At the same time, more income means more possibilities. The combination of scarce leisure time and multiple choices leaves the entertainment industry challenged with how to claim a part of our everyday lives. This year, we ask you to come up with the best solutions for how to navigate in this jungle of possibilities. It is therefore with tremendous pleasure that we introduce to you this year's case company. Copenhagen Zoo.
Copenhagen Zoo is one of the oldest zoos in Europe. We've been around for about 150 years. We've had some difficult years after the crisis, but now we have just closed the best year ever, both in terms of visitors and profit. And based on that, we now have the opportunity to take the zoo to a whole new level. We are competing for people's spare time, and the competition is fierce. So we need to be modern, but we also need to hold on to our core values: high quality, high aesthetics, and high scientific content.
Besides offering visitors a view into the lives of the animal kingdom, Copenhagen Zoo's primary focus is animal conservation and education of the public. In order to ensure funding while catching the interest of visitors, it's important to strike the right balance between neither too scientific nor too much of an amusement park.
Copenhagen Zoo is considered one of the best zoos in Europe, but still, we want to take it to a higher level. In order to sustain it on that higher level, we need more visitors, we need more tourists, and we need them to spend more money when they're visiting us.
Understanding the entertainment and amusement park industry is complex. Simply just displaying animals in their natural habitat is not enough for Copenhagen Zoo. Capturing people's attention is difficult, as trends and demographics are changing. With the threat of decreasing government subsidies and fluctuations in visitor numbers due to weather dependency, the question is therefore how to utilise every aspect of the zoo in the best possible way. In order to increase visitor numbers and raise margins, all stakeholders need to be satisfied. This year, we therefore ask you to formulate a holistic and practical 5-year business plan for how to profitably grow Copenhagen Zoo.
Now you have the opportunity to take Copenhagen Zoo to a higher level. Make sure you balance scientific content and commercial ambition well. Use your international experience, but remember, we're in Scandinavia, so quality is paramount. I'm looking so much forward to meet you all and to see your presentations.
Now we will see what the best talents from 12 universities from all over the world can do. We're looking forward to see how you will solve this great challenge.
And now, to the man who has been key in making all of this possible. Please welcome the CEO of Copenhagen Zoo, Nestor Steffen Stræde.
Wow, this is definitely a lifetime experience for us. But on behalf of Copenhagen Zoo and all the employees at Copenhagen Zoo, thank you very much for spending so much time on working with Copenhagen Zoo. We're very proud that you want to do that. We've been on a long journey for the last 8 months to preparing this. I have not done very much of the work, but 32 people at CBS Case Competition have done a tremendous work. I am absolutely proud and astonished of the level of work you do. I think if this is the level of the students that we have in the world, I think we can look into the future, into a bright future. You're absolutely amazing, I think. There's a lot of people, 32 people have done this, and I think that you all can feel that the whole thing has been done on a very, very high level. In Copenhagen Zoo, we have built sort of an idea-generating culture in the company. So a lot of ideas is coming up from within the company. So I thought it was a good idea to participate in this, to actually get some ideas that has more of a business edge to it. So I hope that we can sort of blend these two idea cultures together, and by that have the ability to speed up our development, I think. And after what I've seen already, I think definitely that's what we are getting out of it. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. I'm looking so much forward to see these next 3 presentations. Thank you very much.
Please join me in giving Steffen and Copenhagen Zoo an extra round of applause for being the case company. Now, we would like to broadcast a small video giving you an indication of what Week 9 has been like for us and for the participants. Together, these clips should give you an indication of a tightly packed schedule with lots of experiences, hard work, as well as, well, having fun, visiting companies and so on. But take this as a testimony from someone who has been riding along for the entire week. I'm still amazed and impressed about the continuous level of engagement and concentration that you manage to portray throughout the week, regardless of your presumable exhaustion. Have a look for yourself.
Welcome to CBS Case Competition 2014.
At the moment, the teams are going through a team building exercise, 8 different exercises that are meant to test their teamwork abilities. So this is a way for us to see how the teams work with each other, and it's a chance for them to get to know each other. And that's also one of the core values of the case competition, is to build long-term relationships. So hopefully that's what we are trying to achieve here.
This is the moment you have been waiting for. And this is the moment that we have been waiting for.
I think everyone was like really excited because it's the Copenhagen Zoo. I'd never been, obviously, but I think it's just like a very neat case in that you can like be creative. It's something that you can actually interact with and think about like very clearly. So it's not as abstract as like a larger corporate case. And I think the case visit was unique in that now we have a sense for like what it looks like what it feels like, what the experience is like. So it's something that you can connect with while you're thinking about how to, quote unquote, crack the case.
I think it's really nice that we get to be so creative with this case. There's so many different ways you can address how to grow a zoo and how to make people come and be attracted and enjoy something that is really like pure in art, not just about making profits and benefiting shareholders.
This leaves me at what we have been waiting for. Our first finalist team. Group A consisted of University of North Carolina, Ken and Flager Business School, University of Porto, FGV, and the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. Our first finalist team has represented the US several times at the CBS case competition. This team is such good friends that they have actually agreed that after their graduation, they will live together. Moreover, they're known for their amazing team spirit, often supported by the tune Eye of the Tiger, which is used when they need to, let's say, get psyched. Without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Wharton. Here's your clicker and your microphone. Welcome to the finals. Amazing setup, huh? Momentarily, I'll just go through some rules, and then we'll off to get you started. To present your solution, you'll have 15 minutes, at which point you will be allowed to finish your sentence, but then you will be cut off. My good colleagues, Mia and Christina, will alert you and keep track of time. They'll give you notice when there are 5 minutes left, and again when there is 1 minute left. After this, there will be a 15 minutes Q&A session from the jury members. Is everything okay and understood?
Yep.
Great. The floor is all yours.
All right, so let me kick you all off with this quick story. When I was 4 years old, I was afraid to eat green foods because I thought that my skin would turn green. And this is because I went on a field trip to the Philadelphia Zoo, which is near where I live, with the rest of my class. And I had the unique experience of being able to feed the flamingos, and then learning from the zookeeper that flamingos' skin is pink because they eat an algae that has red pigment in it. Thankfully, my fear of green foods has subsided, but my love for the Philadelphia Zoo has not. I've been to lots of zoos ever since, but that memory still sticks out. It's been my most memorable zoo experience ever. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marshall. This is Gina, Shahab, and Dane, and we are from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, and we are here today to present ideas for how we believe that the Copenhagen Zoo can create similar experiences for their customers every day. I'm going to first kick it off by providing an overview of our analysis, as well as an introduction to our solution. And then Gina and Shahab will dig into our solution, and Dane will wrap it up with implementation and outcomes. So let's get started. We first looked at goals and objectives and identified these 4 key strategic targets. We need to be able to grow our customer base at 5% per year to get to 1.6 million customers by 2020. We need to sustainably maintain 8% profit margins. We need to get financial independence from government subsidies, And we need to build a brand that is recognized for its international reputation in science and education. It is clear that to achieve these objectives simultaneously, we need to align commercial and scientific goals. So then we took a look at the industry. The Danish entertainment market is growing at 4% per year, and we need to grow at least 5% per year. So clearly, we need to either steal or create market share. We can steal market share by convincing people to go to the zoo instead of other competing attractions, or we can create market share by convincing people to spend an extra day out and come to the zoo. We can steal and create market share in 3 key customer segments. Local customers, so people from Denmark, other Nordic tourists, and then international tourists. Now consider for a second a German family that is visiting Copenhagen for the weekend. If the zoo is not already on their itinerary, it is incredibly difficult to convince them to go to the zoo instead of, say, Tivoli, or to go to stay in the city for an extra day and visit the zoo. In other words, the point I'm trying to make is that stealing and creating market share with international tourists is incredibly difficult. And this difficulty is compounded by the fact that outreach to international tourists is capital intensive and takes a long time horizon in order to yield results. Therefore, we believe that we need to focus on local customers and Nordic tourists for the 5-year business plan, because we can feasibly reach these customers and steal and create market share in these customer segments in 5 years. Now we took a quick look at the company, and though 2013 was a fantastic year financially, there are some key financial and brand risks to keep in mind. There's low return on assets, high revenue variability, high leverage, and of course, the potential for damage to our reputation. Any 5-year business plan needs to avoid additional financial risk by asking for large upfront investments, and also needs to avoid additional brand risk by straying too far away from our core competencies. So the question is, how do we grow sustainably? We first looked at financially what would happen if we were to grow at 5% per year in terms of number of customers, and saw that that is not sufficient in order to maintain an 8% profit margin. We need to couple that with additional customer spend, basically an increase in the average revenue per user, or ARPU. So in order to increase the number of customers and increase our ARPU simultaneously, we need to attract local and Nordic customers, and also find ways to further engage them in the zoo experience. Our growth strategies also need to be informed by our SWOT analysis. In other words, we need to be able to leverage our open culture, our talented and motivated employees, and our cutting-edge scientific research in order to grow in the local and Nordic markets, while also understanding and recognizing the limitations posed by our limited flexibility, the brand and financial risk previously mentioned, and our undifferentiated animal portfolio. So, to recap, we are going to build a 5-year business plan that will help achieve the strategic targets set out by the Copenhagen Zoo. And we're going to do so by creating a financially sound strategy that aligns commercial and scientific objectives so that we can advance science and education to build our brand, improve the ARPU per customer, and improve the number of customers coming to our zoo. So, having established these goals and these criteria, we started to evaluate tactics. And here you find that we brainstormed several dozens of tactics, some of which are up here on this map. And we mapped them along 3 dimensions. The first is scientific and educational impact. Does this project help improve our brand by pushing science and education forward? The second is customer-based growth. Does this project improve ARPU and bring more customers to the zoo? And the third is net present value. Does this project create financial value with a favorable risk-reward profile? And you'll see that basically we rank them in terms of whether or not they perform well in different dimensions, and the green dot solutions are the ones that performed well on all 3 dimensions. And we quickly saw a theme emerge. The best solutions are the ones that leverage our core competencies in science and education to provide a superior experience for our customers. And thus we arrived at our strategy. Link, love, learn. The Copenhagen Zoo is going to link education and entertainment in order to align our commercial and scientific objectives. Customers are going to love their new personalized experiences, thereby driving customer growth and ARPU growth. And the world is going to learn from our cutting-edge research, thereby improving our international profile. I'm now going to pass it on to Gina to further expand on this strategy.
Thank you, Marshall. Let's think back to Varsha's encounter with the flamingos and how his personalized experience with them changed him from a casual visitor of the zoo to a recurring customer. Personalized experiences are exceptionally important. Now we see that the St. Louis Zoo offers a tailored program, Choose Your Own Adventure education program, that allows for students to come and tailor the program based on what they're interested in. Similarly, the National Zoo also offers a Choose Your Own Adventure program that is more focused on the fun things, less so the educational aspect. However, both of these program offerings are only on a one-time basis, as opposed to being a part of the core product offering. What we are proposing is a merger of the best of both worlds, offering Copenhagen Zoo's very own Choose Your Own Adventure. Now, what our program will offer is a unique experience for its consumers based on their interests. At the same time, we'll remain highly adaptive and evolving, taking into account the feedback from our employees, consumers, and management. So let's take a look at what we have on offer. Polar Express, Saving Taz, Human Origins, and Dig and Surf. Let's dig into one of the examples to see what it's all about. 70% of Danes have expressed interest in learning more about environmental issues. Of this group, 65% has identified global warming to be the most pertinent issue. Participants of the Polar Express program will get to go behind the scenes and look at how the polar bears live and get to learn about how global warming really affects the natural habitat. At the same time, you'll have the opportunity to prepare the fish for the feeding, merging entertainment and education. Our program will also be highly unique, seeing as our highly trained staff will be able to offer real-time feedback based on suggestions from our consumers. How do we go about implementing this? We will need buy-in from all of our employees, a test run with our annual card holders, and lastly, increase hours from our part-time employees. In terms of marketing, we have seen exceptional market success with 3-digit ROIs from digital marketing campaigns in Toronto, Antwerp, and Taronga. Copenhagen, too, can leverage its digital platform to achieve this. Copenhagen's Choose Your Own Adventure, by offering personalized experiences, will create and steal market share for us. At the same time, we'll be educating the public. Now, what we have really identified as the key driving factor for customer retention and increased customer is the unique and variety of experiences. Our competitors, amusement parks, museums, cannot offer new rides and new exhibits all the time. We, however, Copenhagen Zoo is highly adaptable. Our Choose Your Own Adventure program will allow us to remain adaptive at a low cost. Choose Your Own Adventure is the missing link between education and entertainment. Shahab will now address our second initiative.
Thank you, Gina. So as Gina told you, the Change Your Own Adventure is a unique new value proposition that is sure to draw in the crowds. But as our CEO pointed out, there's more than just bringing in new customers. We also have to increase the revenue per customer. And to do that, we believe we need to build an infrastructure around this value proposition. So we began looking at multiple case studies, and one of them caught our eye. It was the Cincinnati Zoo case study, where they introduced a content-based loyalty program to increase the customer engagement. This improved the overall experience, let the zoo carry out decisions that optimize their revenue, and also increased their sales by 6%. So because I'm a big fan of the Humboldt Penguin, we have the Humboldt Loyalty Program, which is a free content-based loyalty program for all of our customers, not only the annual card subscribers. The membership involves using the points that you accrue through multiple visits to access new content, which is exclusive, online and offline, and the data that we collect from these customers can then be used to optimize and further personalize the zoo experience. So the benefits are fourfold. The first is we have increased revenue per customer. Second, the customers are engaging more with the scientific content that a zoo is known to produce. Third, with the increased information on our customers, we can find those who are very loyal to the zoo and even solicit donations from them. And finally, we have greater customer retention because of a more personalized experience. So right now, we believe that using a personalized experiential learning as the core of our value proposition will link in the science that we've been missing. Additionally, the infrastructure that we plan to put in place with the loyalty program gives us data that we didn't have before and provides a good foundation for further growth. And finally, we're aligning our scientific and educational objectives with our commercial objectives. And Tanay is going to walk you through how our 3L strategy now affects our business model.
Any transformation of this magnitude requires input and action from all 6 departments at the Copenhagen Zoo. First is the Animal Presentation and Technical Development Department. These departments will be responsible for designing the Choose Your Own Adventure program based on input from employees, customers, and team members. Second is the Science Department, which can work in a cross-functional role with A, the communications team, in order to sell some of their content to our Humboldt program members, and B, with the Interaction Design team, in order to make sure that our experiences are rich on scientific content. Finally, there are the administrative, communications, and zoo shop teams, which will work on managing change, implementing the change, and communicating the results to the public. Now, no 5-year plan would be complete without a thorough financial analysis, and we made a very conservative analysis. We used the case studies that were provided from zoos all around the world and decreased revenue at rates less than that and increased expenses at rates more than that. Despite all of this, we were able to come up with an expected value of NPV of 20 million Danish krone by the end of 5 years. We also achieved all of our financial objectives and move our cost structure from being fixed cost based to variable cost based, since we have part-time employees and the ability to bring these things online slowly. There is one risk to be aware of here though. In the low case, we do end up losing money, but this is mitigated by the fact that our costs are variable, it's low probability, and we have empirical data on these kinds of programs. Now, there are other kinds of risks as well, such as shifting customer perceptions, which is mitigated by the dynamic nature of our programs, shifting industry dynamics, which is mitigated by our unique value proposition and ability to drive ARPU and customer growth, unsustainability of our solution, which is mitigated by our unique value proposition and our variable cost structure, and finally, internal misfit, which is mitigated by getting employee input ahead of time. The implementation will begin in the middle of this year to the end, and will continue until the end of 2015, since it doesn't require much infrastructure or other types of commitments. We also considered a number of alternative strategies beyond the couple dozen Varshil showed you. First was expanding outside of the Nordic region. However, this is unsustainable, difficult, and nearly impossible without a value proposition. Second is discount-based loyalty programs. But we already have one of these, and it continues to erode at our profit margin as you have to give more and more discounts. Third is using the elephant house as some sort of new attraction, but as the case mentioned, this is high in fixed cost and usually doesn't pay back. And finally, is changing our pricing structure, changing our experience, changing the layout of the zoo. But we find these things to be largely superficial and difficult to implement, and will also take a significant amount of time. In short, we believe that our 3L strategy sets Copenhagen Zoo up for success in the long run. It shores up our balance sheet over the next 5 years. It fixes several operational problems that we see with the zoo, defines a value proposition, and increases our scientific profile. In the long run, we can then pursue the international markets. To reiterate, Create Your Own Adventure will link our scientific objectives with our commercial ones. The Humboldt program will extend experiences to consumers that they're going to love, and the entire world will learn from Copenhagen Zoo's new platform for growth. Thank you. We're now open for questions.
We'll now turn to the jury for questions.
Great presentation, but I was wondering, do you envisage that your own adventure can be fully developed by the existing employees of the Copenhagen Zoo, or do you recommend that the zoo should continue to use your consultancy services?
So when we had our zoo visit at the Copenhagen Zoo, we really saw the expert knowledge that the current employees have, and we truly believe that they can leverage this and just present it to the consumers, especially when you have a crowd of people who really want to learn your program and are in it and interested, all the more better for our employees. And now in our program, you saw what we had, the Polar Express program, but we also did develop others, such as Human Origins, you can see outlined there, Saving Taz, Copenhagen Zoo is the only other location with Tasmanian devils outside of Tasmania. But the point being, these programs are highly adaptive and can be changed based on the feedback we get from our customers and the employees. And that's what we believe our employee can definitely do that.
A bit of a different question. your set of activities and a lot of innovation into that. How does that tie back to your target audience of the Chosen 2 segment, the Danish and Scandinavian Nordic audience?
So, as Gina mentioned earlier, we did a good deal of research on the Nordic segment and the Danish segment, and we found a couple of things. The first is that what is key to these markets is an ever-changing experience, and that's the only thing that can drive long-term revenue and CLV. We provide that. Second, we explored perceptions in these markets, and we found that out of most of the world, Western Europeans and Northern Europeans are most likely to believe in evolution, most likely to be interested in learning about animal rights, and most likely to believe in global warming and think about it more. Therefore, we believe that these programs will specifically do well with these markets, whereas they might not do as well in other markets.
Great presentation, great plan. Straight to the financials. You increase your staff expenses by 50% in 3 years on a visitor growth of 2 to 5%. I can see that the numbers in the end add up. What am I missing? What's the link?
So the link is basically what we did is we looked at the Cincinnati Zoo, the Toronto Zoo, all of these case studies that we have, and we took the financial assumptions they experienced and combined it with historical, basically employee expense as a percentage of revenue. We took these 3 different cases, the high case, the base case, and the low case, and we increased it from what it historically has been across all 3. Then what we did is we computed probabilities of these cases and applied those. So the financial model you're seeing is kind of a combination of all of these things, and that's why we see a little bit of lumpiness in the employee expenses.
You focus greatly on the animals. That's in your strategy. In your figures, the animal cost, if there's such a thing, are flat. Your employee cost explode. Maybe you want to revisit that, but otherwise great.
You are talking about marketing vis-a-vis the Nordic region. Could you elaborate a little bit more about how would you reach the Scandinavian people?
So currently, Copenhagen Zoo has a very strong digital marketing platform, and we see that if used correctly and really pushed, as we see in these 3 case studies, focused on, for example, birth of a new animal or a new exhibit, we can really get to a large audience. So we'll continue to do that and leverage it specifically for this program. And seeing as Choose Your Own Adventure is so unique, we believe that pickup would be quite fast.
Getting back to the financials, do you achieve the 8% profit margin, and when, and how much of an investment over the years are you expecting to make?
So as you can see from this model up here, we hit the profit margin goal in 2017, which is actually 3 years from now, but the key is that we do it in a sustainable way. In terms of costs, as I mentioned before, we believe that this will largely be a variable cost structure and not a fixed cost structure, but I believe that there will be approximately, averaging out the base low and the high case, somewhere on the order of 40 to 50 million Danish krone of investment over the next 5 years. But this is obviously all proportional to revenue, which means that our profit margin stays sustainable.
You have chosen not to invest in the old elephant house, and I understand that that is because of risk and significant capex that would go into such a project. But can you elaborate a little bit more why you haven't considered funding strategies, why you haven't exploited this site?
So we actually did explore it quite a bit, and it was one of the first ideas we came up with because the tour guides were so adamant about the old elephant house being a great place. However, a couple of observations limited our use to do that. First, as Varshil mentioned, we think that the high fixed cost and leverage that is honestly in the range of most distressed debt investors is something that we need to take care of before we can incur more capital expenditures. Second, we believe that the old animal house, as specified in the case, new attractions tend to last about 2 years and grow revenue for 2 years maybe, and then tend to die back down and actually not make the payback period, which is going to be problematic. And third and finally, as we mentioned before, in the Nordic markets especially, the key driver is new experiences. We don't believe that any sort of attraction can be ever-changing and therefore won't generate recurring customers, which is going to be problematic. Only customer growth cannot achieve the 8% profit margins we want, as Varsha pointed out.
Great presentation. It was very good. How did you consider the issue of the capacity of the zoo and the seasonality to the pricing of the loyalty programs and other services?
So the seasonality and a couple of other operational issues are definitely there, but we felt that it wasn't worth focusing on them in the short term for a couple of reasons. First is that the zoo can't exactly expand beyond its current base, and that is something that's fixed in the case, and it will require large capital expenditures, and therefore we chose to ignore it. Second, we have largely part-time employees, and therefore we believe that we can ramp them up as revenue ramps up so that we can deal with some of the operational issues within the park. And thirdly, in terms of seasonality, we believe that some of our solutions will actually deal with the seasonality constraints. So for instance, our CRM solution will be able to target customers who aren't coming in the winter, try and bring them in maybe with promotional spend, and naturally regulate the flow of things.
So I know the task was to get government or get out of the dependence on government funding, but beyond the Elephant House, what thought have you given to other thoughts of sponsorship and non-profit funding?
So I guess focusing the core of our solutions, we thought it's important to be able to attract customers and gain revenue that way. But I think the core of our solution is being able to align scientific objectives with commercial objectives. And I think that basically by being able to pursue science and then leverage that to create a better customer experience, we can continue to push our research forward, which will hopefully bring in additional funding. But also, when we were talking to the CEO, I know there was mention of a crowdfunding campaign, things where basically we can engage with customers and have them enjoy the experiences so much that they'd also be willing to donate. So I think the Humble Loyalty Program, combined with Create Your Own Adventure, are going to be able to improve customer loyalty and also potentially encourage them to donate small amounts to the research and education that the zoo is pursuing. So more or less, I think we can continue to pursue science and leverage that to create an experience, and then also leverage the experiences and the new customer interaction and data to be able to bring in more donations from our customers.
So competing with amusement parks and a very demanding audience in terms of entertainment, how can we expect that your ideas will create the appropriate wow effect in the marketplace?
I think there are a couple answers to that. So I think first of all, we want to be able to provide, I think one of the advantages that we're trying to leverage here is that we have an employee culture that's open, that's feedback oriented, and that we can leverage to basically continue to adapt our strategy. So, the proposals we made in terms of Create Your Own Adventure, those are things that we made based off of the research we've seen, based off of the current assets that the zoo has, and I think those will change over time, as Gina mentioned. So I think the way to create the wow factor is through a personalized experience, and then being able to create multiple of those that people can come back for. So I don't think people are going to come in for one big attraction, and though that is somewhat advantageous in the short run, in the long run, that's not sustainable. They're going to come in for different experiences every time, and these experiences are going to rotate and adapt as customer preferences change, and as employees start seeing different conditions on the ground. And since we have such a good relationship with our employees, we're confident that we can leverage that feedback in order to continue to adapt.
Yeah, a question from me. I can see that you have chosen to, you have put in a mobile app as not being in green. It doesn't hit a three times strike on your analysis, and I can see online content is doing that. Can you elaborate a bit on that? Page H.
So I think when you think about the mobile app, and this is a strategy that's been used by other zoos, it does drive engagement, but it doesn't necessarily drive more customers. So that's why we believe that it is a great platform for us to be able to leverage in the future, but right now we already don't have that strong of an IT platform. We're starting to develop that hopefully with the Humboldt loyalty program. And over time, once we start engaging with users on a more consistent basis, collecting data, we can leverage that sort of thing. But right now, it won't produce the same amount of impact and customer engagement as it would if we had.
What about ARPU? ARPU-wise, I think it's very good that you have ARPU as a very important element, but couldn't it generate some more ARPU.
I-
Mobile app in contradiction to the online content.
Yes, it could be coupled with the current online content. Totally agree. Yes.
We went through the description of the adventures very fast, but I think I sort of picked up on the age limits. And I'm a little bit concerned that are you sort of, I think it was 8+. Are you suggesting a kids-free zoo?
So this is slightly tangential. The reason most of our choose your own adventures are focused on children is because that's what we're best at designing for, and that's just where our creativity lies. But I'm sure engaging with employees and customers will come up with better adventures that are more suited to adults, perhaps slightly even more dangerous with the thrill factor and the learning. But one other thing that we wanted to point out is that the case mentions that the average age in the zoo is 29 years old. When we visited the zoo on Tuesday, we actually took a count and a random sample of all of the people who were there. We counted 300 different people and took some demographic factors about them. We found that the average age is actually in the ballpark of 11.63, which is, I know it's a Tuesday morning, I know it's in the winter, but that is something that's relevant. It could help with the seasonality concerns, it could help with the Humboldt program to get accurate data on these kinds of things, and it could also help us pick adventures that help us drive revenue.
Sorry, one sec, to follow up. I think you were asking the other question, which is why is it not kid-oriented? So we definitely believe that they should be oriented around children, and again, these are just some ideas that we thought of, but I guess to sort of follow up on Tane's point, I think once we have a better idea, sort of as we tried to get at the zoo, of where the customer ranges lie and what different kinds of experiences that these kids and adults are trying to have, we definitely create segments for, for children, young, and then somewhat older, teens, and adults. So we definitely agree with that suggestion.
Have you considered any bottleneck issues with this customized experience? So what are the capacity for these events?
So these events, while customized, will depend on really the current operation of the zoo. For example, feeding. When are the animals usually fed, how often, and so forth. And based on, we're also not zoologists, we don't know how safe it is, what the liabilities are, how many children you have in the space, and so forth. So working with employees, we'll be able to come up with a precise number to achieve that.
You've chosen the Humboldt loyalty program as a core element in your solution. What are your thoughts on branding? Is that a unique brand for Copenhagen Zoo? And what about the impact on the Copenhagen Zoo brand overall?
So we see the Humboldt loyalty program as a tertiary program to the annual cards that we have now. We chose the name Humboldt just because we felt it's good to tie the loyalty to something that people associate with in the zoo. So potentially branding or making a more personal experience with a certain, maybe the bear, and have a card associated with that. And what that does is it allows people to feel attached to what they saw in the zoo and then engage with the experience even when they're not in the zoo and when they're online. And what we can do going forward, which is what we've shown in our timeline, is integrate the Humboldt loyalty program with the annual card program that we have now. But the key concern was we need to get the loyalty program out to every customer possible. As of now, the annual card program only caters to those who come over four times a year. And we feel that people who don't visit the zoo as often, but are also an important part of our customer base, should be tapped into.
Great. And now we are getting ready to welcome the next talented group of students here on stage. Group B consisted of the following teams: Shantou University, the University of Melbourne, University of St. Gallen, and our home university, Copenhagen Business School. Of this group, our second finalist team, has participated in every CBS case competition for the past 12 years. For the past week, I have learned that these guys take every challenge with a big smile. Without further ado, let's welcome the two Scandinavians and their girls. Please give them a warm welcome, our home university, Copenhagen Business School. Welcome to the finals. Do you like what we have done with the place in here?
Looks beautiful.
Momentarily, I'll go through the rules, and then I'll get you started. Are you ready? Great, let's get to it. Between the four of you, you have one microphone and one clicker available. To present your solution, you'll have 15 minutes. After this, you will be allowed to finish a sentence, at which point you will be cut off. My good colleagues, Mia and Christina, will keep track of time and alert you when there are 5 minutes left, and again when there's 1 minute left. After this, we'll have a 15-minute Q&A session where the jury members will be allowed to ask you questions. Is everything okay and understood? Great. The full rules.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having us here today, where we're going to present to you our proposal for your new 5-year strategy. Allow me to first introduce you my colleagues. This is Mads, Benedikte, and Johan, and I'm Simone. Gandhi once said that the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. In this, you have set an outstanding example for our nation by positioning yourself as a global frontrunner in scientific research, natural preservation, and animal welfare. And we believe that if you can manage to leverage these core values and make them an even more prominent part of your profile, you will be able to take Copenhagen Zoo to great lengths. Today you're facing a range of opportunities and challenges in your market. The main question being how you can grow your visitor base into a sustainable level while still maintaining a high margin independent of government subsidies. And we believe the answer to this can be summarized in 3 words: engage, expand, and escalate. We're convinced that if you can manage to engage your members into your values and the project you undertake, if you can expand your funding base and increase private funding, and if you can escalate your marketing activities, you will be able to reach a sustainable annual visitor level of 1.56 million and a margin of 7.8% independent of government subsidies by 2020. First, allow my colleague Mads to take you through the market situation you're currently facing.
Thank you very much. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you have been faced with very high fluctuations in your earnings over the last 5 years. You've seen high decreases and you've had losses. And within the last year, you've seen a pressure on your earnings because costs have increased due to the fact that you actually built several new animal enclosures over the last couple of years. This creates the need for you to improve your margins in the future and stabilize your earnings. Also, we've seen that government subsidies has gone down over the last 5 years, and this trend is very much expected to continue into the future. Also, we've seen a large decrease in the number of annual passes sold in your zoo. This presents you with 2 key challenges. You need to start securing finance elsewhere because the government subsidy will disappear, and you need to turn this negative trend around. We think that you can achieve that goal through a 3-legged strategy that we have entitled Engaging the Consumers, engaging your visitors into the park through the Society Project, expanding your funding activities, and escalating your marketing activities. And now my colleague Simone would like to take you through the first part of our strategy.
Yes, engaging your customers. Because right now you're facing a gap in your business model between zoo as a scientific research organization, zoo as an educational facility, and zoo as a business. We believe that if you can manage to bridge this gap by leveraging the fact that natural preservation and animal welfare are core parts of your value set, you will be able to create a niche position for yourself in the market, retain your members, and obtain new members through an increased amount of visitors. And we propose that you bridge the gap through initiating the Zoo Society Project. A project with the sole purpose of positioning you as the global frontrunner in natural preservation and actively involving your members into your values and the projects you undertake. The Society projects will have two functions. Firstly, it will be the brand and platform from which all your current and future scientific research and natural preservation projects will stem. This will allow you to rebrand and refocus Copenhagen Zoo into being a leader with the core of natural preservation. Secondly, the Society project will be your new membership structure, where part of the price of a membership now goes directly into funding the projects you undertake. This will actively involve your members in your organization and give them a sense of ownership over your projects. And it's thus a much more content and value-driven loyalty program than the discount-driven base your current annual card is providing. We believe this will allow you to retain your members and obtain many new visitors. So basically, the Zoo Society project is all about repositioning Copenhagen Zoo as a front runner in preservation and welfare, both within your industry and towards your consumers, and to actively involve them in your values and in your work. It will still function as an annual membership like the one we know from today, but part of the price will now go directly into funding the project you undertake. And we believe that the Society membership should completely replace regular annual memberships by 2016, and I'd be happy to take you through the pricing strategy and replacement strategy later if you wish.
Thank you. The physical placement of the Zoo Society project could be taken within the old buildings of the Elephant House, making the old Elephant House into the new Zoo Society House, where your visitors, your projects, and your values will meet in one whole. We think it should contain the beautiful outlook of the house, however, seek the good opportunities to expand the area with ideas from the Elephant House and also take other good ideas from, for example, the National Historical Museum, where they also combine the old buildings with new facilities. Looking at the plan of the Zoo Society House, we will suggest you to, in the right stable, to create a documentary cinema for preservation projects, and in the main building there could be an exhibition hall with continuously exhibitions with perspective on educational preservation projects and so forth. In the courtyard we suggest a glass pavilion with rooms for events and for the society shop and for recreational areas for your visitors. Because we believe to have this very central position in the zoo, with the Zoo Society House, you will be able to be visible for your visitors and to engage your visitors in your projects. And now my colleague will take you through the next leg of our strategy.
Expand. You need to expand your funding because, as mentioned earlier, the funding of government subsidies will decrease in the future. We see a great opportunity for you within crowdfunding, and we think that's a great opportunity to leverage. Crowdfunding has proven hugely successful in financing startup companies all over the world. Actually, in 2013, over $5 billion were raised through crowdfunding on a global level, and we believe this is a huge opportunity for you. You should implement this in a very, very, very tangible way, very specific. Engage your people, engage your visitors in this. For instance, on the website, you would have a very specific list of projects that people could buy into. Conservation of chimpanzees in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Building a new leopard pen for your leopards in the zoo, which is very much needed at the moment. We also want you to implement this around the zoo, so that when people are walking around in the zoo, they get interaction with this. For instance, as an example, in front of the leopard pen, you will have a live monitor showing the funding progress for the new leopard enclosure. Because when it's there, it would entail like the sort of interaction that we really want with the visitors, and it would be really, really great because you would have an interaction and they could buy into this project because it's so tangible, so specific. And that's the sense of ownership we want you to create for your visitors in the projects. And that's how we see that you can actually raise funds in the future. And now, my colleague Johan would like to take you through the third part of our strategy.
Thank you. Which is escalating marketing efforts, which would ultimately lead to an increased amount of annual visitors. If we look at your current general presence offline, we can see that it's pretty strong, but there is room for improvement. And we have identified 3 gaps where we think that you should increase your presence. That is online, in your international profile, and your interactivity with the streets of Copenhagen. So, to fill these gaps, we suggest that you expand your communication team, employ additional staff, and increase the budget towards ideas and projects that I will run through now. So starting with your online presence. Right now you have a strong presence on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube, but there's room for improvement. For instance, if we look at your website, it needs to be redesigned to meet current modern standards, and the content needs to be updated. Another way of increasing your online presence would be to develop a zoo app. An app where visitors can plan their visit to the zoo, where they can interact with the zoo, at the zoo, and where they can take home their experience from the zoo with them, in their smartphone, in their pocket. Because Copenhagen, Denmark, and the world is moving towards online, and there we think that there's huge potential for you to leverage that. If we look at your international profile, there is huge potential for you to increase the amount of visitors. Right now, you're capturing 0.5% of the annual visitors in Denmark. And we vision Copenhagen Zoo as our vision is that Copenhagen Zoo will become one of the top tourist attractions in Copenhagen. So through improving your international profile and targeting tourist channels, we believe that you have huge potential to capture from this customer segment. Finally, if we look at your presence interactively on the streets of Copenhagen, we suggest that you start pop-up street events, like as you can see on this picture over here, and that you start selling tickets at multiple places in Copenhagen. For instance, at Hovedbanegården. Also, accessibility is a very, very vital issue. We strongly emphasize that you set up direct bus lines that takes visitors from strategic places like Nyhavn, like Nørreport, towards Copenhagen Zoo. And why not set up a trek through Frederiksberg Hill that they can interact with different kind of animals and sculptures, and also find their way to the zoo. You need to increase your online presence. You need to strengthen your international profile, and you need to strengthen your interactivity with the streets of Copenhagen. If you can do that, awareness about Copenhagen Zoo will be increased. There will be a hype created, and you will strengthen your brand. And that will ultimately lead to an increased amount of annual visitors. Now I'd like to leave over to Benedicte that will present our thoughts about what lies beyond our 5-year strategy proposal.
Looking beyond the 5-year strategy, we believe that there is a great opportunity for you to grasp even more growth for the future. The current situation is that Roskilde Road is separating the zoo into 2 separate areas. However, the municipality of Frederiksberg acknowledged this very negative externalities this causes to the visitors of not only the Frederiksberg garden and the Søndermarken, but also to the zoo environment. The project, the suggestion is, and the possibility there is to tunnel down the Roskildevej underneath the surface, creating a tunnel and level that they can use the surface to connect the two gardens and also to the zoo. It's still in the initial phase, this project. However, we believe that it is very, very, very important now to start lobbying for the tunnel so that it could be a vital strategic path to go in the future. Because this tunnel will create the opportunity for you and the platform for the zoo, the Copenhagen Zoo, to create sustainable growth for the future by expanding and integrating the park and to increase the capacity of parking lots, and even more, like expand the facilities on the surface with a new entrance and shop to increase customer spend per visit. Now I will let my colleague go through the...
Thank you. First of all, we believe that you'll be able to increase your position of the core values of education and interactiveness and give you competitive advantages in the landscape. We also have the implementation plan that I would love to go through with you later on, but first let me take you through the impact we believe this will have. You will actually be able to achieve 1.56 million annual visitors by 2020, as well as achieving 7.8% margin by 2020. So to summarize, we want to engage your customers, your visitors in the Society program. We want to expand the funding activities in order to secure this funding from different sides. We want to escalate the marketing activities so that you're able to capture this international segment and new segments. And finally, we want you to really increase and emphasize the Roskildevej project, because that's the platform on which you build future long-term growth. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we will be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. Now we'll turn to the jury for questions.
Yes, thank you very much for a good presentation. The levers you're focusing on are very much related to increasing the volume, i.e. the visitors in the zoo. What are the assumptions that you put into your financial model on average revenue per visitor? So in other words, how are we using this lever in our strategy? Because selling to the existing customers must be easier, all else equal, typically, than gaining new customers.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right about that. However, the projections I want to take you through is that we're actually going to see a decrease at first, because we will, like 1.44 million people visited in 2013, and it's going to decrease in the future. The projection is that we think that through these marketing activities, we can increase growth by 7% with the strong presence in the city, the interaction with the city, and the increase of international consumers, because that's where we see the great potential for you, because that segment is currently underutilized. And so to take you through, we will see a decrease right now, but we think it's a reasonable assumption that you will actually be able to grow 7% in the future.
Yeah, I see that. What I meant was, what is the DKK per user that you are? I didn't bring my calculator, of course I can calculate it, but what are the assumptions per user? So is it 200 kroner per user, per visitor? So is it 150, and how is that going to develop in your model here?
What we've used in our model is that we've assumed fixed prices for the next 5 years in the zoo, because prices were just increased very recently. In our assumption, we've assumed 60% adults and 40% children. And that's then the average calculation of the number of visitors. That's the projection and how we've included it in our financials.
Thank you for this inspiring presentation. I very much like your idea about basing the whole strategy on the core values like preservation and animal welfare and so on. Isn't it getting a little bit too serious when thinking that, as you already mentioned, that the children, the kids are the main target?
First of all, the Society project that we wish to implement does not have children as its main customer segment. Because right now you have a collaboration with the WWF that's called the Candy Club that targets children up to the age of 16. And we wish this house to implement segments from that age so that older children, high school and university students, and also older people with more engagement and involvement in animal conservation will be able to benefit from the project. Yeah.
Could you please tell a little bit about how you are going to finance your investments, especially your society house? As far as I can see, the equity in the company is close to zero, and the balance sheet is 200 million, so it will be a little bit difficult to raise funds.
Yes, so if we look at the old elephant house, we have the building expenses here, and it's basically spread out 1.6 million in 2015 and 1.6 million in 2016. And we based that, we benchmarked how much it cost to build the Arctic Circle, which was 150 million. So we assumed 20% of that cost. Now, how would these 20%, 30 million, be financed? We have benchmarked towards how the expenses and financing were allocated building the new elephant house, which was 80% by private funding, 9% of loan, and 10.7% of Copenhagen Zoo's cash reserve. So by taking 10.7% out of 30 million, we end up with 1.6 million in 2015 and 1.6 million in 2016.
A bit further along the same lines, fascinating ideas and a good plan for implementing them, but maybe on the investment levels and financing a bit more optimistic. Regarding the tunnel, that's a great idea, but I think it's wise to take it after the 5-year plan, because as you live in Copenhagen, you know tunnels here, they take decades. But so it's good to start. But anyway, even if we look at the 5-year, my question is, what if the investment costs are actually a bit higher than anticipated? And what if the funding comes a bit slower than planned? How would you deal with that risk? Do you have flexibility in your plan? Can you cope with that?
We have actually identified that as one of the major risks for our projects. The first one being that funding is not going to be as large as we projected it to be. That crowdsourcing is not going to be as popular as it has been in the startup community. The way we want to mitigate that risk is to increase the private funding platform from large foundations, which has traditionally been the way that Zoo has financed its projects. And that is, we want to emphasize that. And if you go to slide 32, please. Thank you very much. We want you to prioritize the private funding platform and larger projects, because this is a large investment and it has traditionally been financed around 80% of donations. We want you to drive very specific project-based funding, because that enables people to see the tangibility of it and see what actually will grow out of the money that they will be donating towards you. And finally, we believe that you will have a really, really strong position within the private donorship currently. Dyrenes Beskyttelse receives over 50 million kroner a year, and with the initiation of the Society project, which emphasizes your core values, conservation, wildlife activities, and science, we believe that you have a very, very strong position within the private, larger donor segment, and you can leverage that position to increase private funds.
Okay, sorry for being party spoiler, but I want to address Simone and Benedicte as the girls. My question is more on how you want to leverage on the scientific part, and do you see a conflict in the non-good feeling you normally have when you go into zoo and see the animals in captivity?
First of all, it is a very important part of the implementation of the Society membership that we want to have a specialized newsletter targeted to the Society members that takes a positive attitude towards the projects you're currently undertaking. We want the Society house to be built around progress showing in the projects, so that consumers can constantly feel the progress they're contributing to, so it doesn't feel like it is threatening them to save the animals before they become extinct, but rather that they can constantly, also through the crowdfunding monitors at the zoo, follow the progress as to take a positive stance towards preservation.
Can I just come back to the crowdfunding question? You rightly have it on your slide as the principal risk that you see of the three. Help us understand, given that this is not a startup, this is not Silicon Valley, what the basis is for really being able to attract that kind of crowdfunding for this kind of project, given that if you look at charitable entities elsewhere in the world, both crowdfunding is quite difficult and actually the specific project funding is actually turning out to be more difficult and challenging, and membership contributions as well. So they're actually relying more and more on very large-scale private donations, which you also identified. But help us understand why the crowdfunding really can be such an important pillar of your funding.
Yes, we base this on the fact that over 5 million has been raised and over millions and millions of projects that have been successfully implemented. And we do see this as a key driver for zoo as well, if it's done very tangibly and involving the visitors as part of the membership of the society. For instance, we could have what needs to be done is a very clear reward structure where the donors in the crowdfunding perceive the value they get out of this project. I've outlined up here sort of how the reward structure could be financed, or could look like, where rewards increase as you donate more, up to the maximum level of 5,000 kroners, where you would actually be invited into a thank you banquet dinner at the zoo and get a handwritten personal note. These are things that actually drive people. They want acknowledgement for donations, and that's what drives crowdfunding. And we do truly believe that this can be done in a zoo as well.
In the Western economy, there's a thing called jobless growth, and I can see that, to my knowledge, I think the society is very service-driven, and it might also be causing you to step it up staffing-wise. But it seems that that is not the case. How can you elaborate a bit on the society and the service level that you plan to do that?
Okay, first of all, in the current outline of the Society project, we haven't calculated in any extra staffing, because currently you're undertaking so many different projects through your Panda Club and your Zoo Lab initiatives. So we believe that refocusing some of the attention from those particular areas would make you able to undertake the Society House. Furthermore, we want to implement a new program, since currently you have no volunteers working at the zoo, where if it is needed, volunteers can be brought in from the membership base. Can I have the pricing strategy of the society? Because we want to implement a new variety of membership for society members, where you can become an ambassador, through which we can find people actively interested in engaging with animal preservation, and through here we might be able to find volunteers for the project.
Another question to the cost involved in this strategy. As you can hear, there are quite some questions to the P&L, but the marketing cost as a % of sales, what are the assumptions behind that plan you have under Escalate Point 3? How will that develop over the 5 years?
So basically, there are several costs posed here. We have the staffing, adding an additional communication staff member, and we based that one person with full-time employment on a yearly basis. Then we have the development of the employing one IT staff member, and we suggested he starts working full-time, and when he has developed the app, he or she, then he will go down on a part-time basis. Then we also have several other posts, including offline advertising for addressing international tourists. We also have interactivity with several different kinds of... Should I continue? Or? Yeah, anyway, and then we also have the TV advertising, and perhaps...
For implementing the Society project, we wish to implement a Society festival in week 37 of September to deal with seasonality. And this will of course also be a part of our cost calculations.
And through promoting this, also as a part of implementing Society membership as the sole annual card membership of Copenhagen Zoo, we wish to initiate a heavy advertising campaign through TV2 spots and through TV2 online advertisements, which will make up 928,000 for the television spot and an additional 25,000 for TV. And those will happen annually, perhaps scaled down as the attention to the Society Festival increases over the years. Yeah, as we see on this slide, we will start the television advertisement in week 6, which is high season on TV2, which accounts for the price. But we'll have 70 spots with a maximum reach of 2 million people, with an additional million of people through the online advertising channel.
A question, you are cleverly, skillfully playing on some core consumer trends. Apart from demography, age, what are your thoughts on segmentation?
Currently, there's only 2 segmentations with adults and children. However, we believe that we should also try to target the students as well, because lower student price would be a good idea.
If you turn back to your profit loss, you have some of the cost which seems, have you done a cost benefit behind it? For example, the transportation, the bus into the zoo, or have you considered what people are able to pay for?
So regarding the bus, for instance, we have estimated that it would cost 374,400 a year, which is based on how many bus rides and 3 days a week, basically.
I was more considering, say, pop-up events and bus, whether you can get sponsorships for these, or customers are able. Have you done any analysis on the elasticity?
Well, basically, these are the expenses that we have considered, and our belief is that Copenhagen Zoo will pay for those. The funding part is a completely other.
Thank you. Now we'll have a short break of 15 minutes time. It cannot be stressed enough how important it is that you revert to your seats when you hear the bell. Thank you. Have a nice break. Up until now, we have been presented with a case that was to be solved, and we have heard 2 of the proposed solutions. This leaves us with merely 1 presentation to go before we are ready to send out the jury to deliberate. So it is a pleasure to present to you the 3rd finalist team for this afternoon. Group C consisted of the following teams: University of British Columbia, Solo School of Business; University of Indonesia; Hong Kong University of Science and Technology; and National University of Singapore. The next team that I'm going to introduce and walk through this door has the youngest member ever in CBS case competition, merely 16 of age. Quite impressive. A funny fact about the team is that every time they prepare, they have this thing where they have to, so I've been told, to listen to something called the Jungle Song. And why is that for a National University of Singapore? Well, without further ado, please give them a warm welcome. guys. Are you ready? That's great. Momentarily, I'll go through the rules, and then I'll start you off. First of all, you have one microphone and one clicker available. To present your solution, you'll have 15 minutes. After this, you are allowed to finish a sentence, at which point you will be cut off. My good colleagues, Mia and Christina, will keep track of time and alert you when there are 5 minutes left, and again when there's 1 minute left. After the presentation, we'll have a 15-minute Q&A session with the jury members. Is everything okay and understood? The floor is all yours.
The penguin. Even though he may seem like an awkward and clumsy animal, he is one of the most successful inhabitants in Antarctica. Now I know he doesn't live in this part of the world, but we can still learn important lessons from him. As you all can see, all of us have already learned one important lesson, and that is we're all dressed like a penguin. However, today we're going to learn one more lesson, and that's how we can thrive in the wild. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Ryan, and these are my teammates Ichin, Shuangwei, and Louis, and we are from Helix Consulting. Today, our recommendation will achieve 3 strategic targets by 2020. Achieving 1.6 million visitors, a 1.5 times increase in profit margin, and 0 government subsidies. To achieve this target, we have to answer these 3 key issues. How to position Copenhagen Zoo, how to create a sustainable revenue growth, and how to reduce reliance on government subsidies. So we have identified 3 growth options. Explore new frontiers, maximize the core, and explore adjacent segments. So let's think about our friend the penguin again. Have you ever wondered why he doesn't fly? That's because he's sticking to his core competency, and that is swimming. So similarly, by exploring new frontiers, we will risk the dilution of core values and also spread our resources that are already so thin. Yet on the other hand, by focusing on our core, we're able to increase profit margin and at the same time capture new target segments. However, in order to capture these 2 growth opportunities, we first have to develop a strong positioning. Now let's take a look at our competitors. The key success factor of any tourist attraction, be it museums or amusement park, is to have a unique selling proposition. Whereas zoos, they differentiate themselves based on the variety of animals or architectural design. However, the Copenhagen Zoo is unable to compete directly with them because of its limited resources. Therefore, there is a need to develop a truly unique selling proposition that is based on consumer megatrends, core competencies, and brand values. These must also be aligned to the company's objectives. Now take a look at the top of the triangle. You can see that key drivers of consumer demand are new experiences and user involvement. Moving to the bottom on your left, the brand values of the company focuses on animal welfare and education. And finally, the core competency of Copenhagen Zoo is its team of strong scientists. Now putting these 3 together, it is clear then that the unique selling proposition is for Copenhagen Zoo to provide quality, interactive learning experiences for its visitors. So now that we have developed a strong positioning, we are going to go for a swim, and we're going to go swim proud.
So let's take a look at how we can increase the spend from our core customers. We've identified them to be families with children who enjoy the educational and visual experience of the zoo. How we can increase spend from this group of core customers is through 2 ways. One is to increase the frequency of the visits. Second is to increase the spend per visit. And how we propose to do this is through 2 ways as well. One is to drive the conversion of the annual cards, and second is to drive the consumption of complementary product offerings such as the restaurants or events and courses within the zoo. Now the key question is then, which complementary offering should we focus on developing? We looked at the 3 different services that will appeal to our core customers, that is the souvenir shops, the restaurants, and courses and events.
evaluated it against the criteria of 3 things. First, it needs to be operationally feasible. Whatever we do cannot add on to the capacity constraint that the zoo already faces. Second, there needs to be a high impact on margin. And third, it needs to provide us with good, stable revenues. And with that, we've identified the potential that lies with the souvenir shop. So how we propose to increase our business from the souvenir shop is through the development of new products and souvenirs. And we are excited to present to you our My Furry Friend program. So to all the parents out there, imagine a day where you spend a day with your little one in the zoo. Your little one stops by the very first enclosure, that is the Arctic Ring, and sees the amazing polar bear. Now your little one is actually very fascinated and amazed by the polar bear. But when it's time to leave, he's sad and cannot bear to leave. But what if you could tell your little one that he or she is able to bring home a piece of that memory from the zoo? And that, in essence, is what our My Furry Friend program seeks to achieve. It's an adoption program where children will get to bring home a beautiful memory in the form of a soft toy and adopt these animals from the zoo so that they'll be able to keep that memory alive. Now, through our adoption program, it will actually take place across 3 different tiers. We are looking at a pricing structure of 280, 550, and 1200 Danish kroners. I'll be happy to take you through the pricing strategy, but let us focus on what are the activities that are actually tied to each of the tiers within the pricing, within the adoption program. So in tier 1, each of the children will definitely be entitled to a soft toy, an adoption certificate, and also a book. Now, we believe that education is at the cornerstone of the Copenhagen Zoo, and therefore, this is a great platform for us to actually educate our little ones about the educational value of the zoo and impart scientific knowledge. Now, in tier 2, on top of this, we will also be offering personalized letters and also an invitation to the My Furry Friends gathering. What is this about? Now, in a personalized letter, it will actually feature monthly updates on the well-being of the little one's furry friends that they have actually adopted. Now, these letters will actually be written in the perspective of the furry friends that they have actually adopted. It will be as though the furry friends are talking to them and telling them little facts about themselves. Now, in the My Furry Friends gathering, it's actually an event where the little ones will actually get together and can actually meet other children who love animals. And also, it's a great platform for us to introduce conservation activities in order to educate the children. Now, in the third tier of the adoption model, we are also looking at the introduction of the family annual cards and also the meet and greet sessions. Now, for the inclusion of the family annual cards, we are looking at providing 2 adult and 1 child pass, which is already worth 1200 Danish kroners. And if you recall, this is the price of the tier 3 package. Now, why we want to do this is to make it highly attractive for the families to actually purchase this tier of the package. Because we know that from our research that the average card holder actually returns to the zoo at least 5 times a year. And this will actually help us to increase the frequency of visit to the zoo. Now, secondly, in the meet and greet session, we'll also be able to allow the children to get up close and personal with their favorite animals in the zoo, and this will foster a very strong emotional connection with the zoo. And in repeating their visits to the zoo, we believe that this will actually help us to also recurring revenues from the renewal of the annual cards. So now that we have looked at how we can actually defend and protect our core, let's look at how we can swim far and explore adjacent segments. So our second strategy takes a look at how we can increase the number of visitors to the zoo. And we choose to focus on the tourist segment because it currently forms strong market potential, but yet less than 10% of total visitors to the zoo are actually tourists. So this strategy will be executed in 2 phases. Firstly, through the introduction of promotional tactics to increase awareness of the zoo among tourists, and secondly, through the introduction of new activities to generate interest and charm. So we took a deeper look at who exactly are these main tourist segments in Denmark, and more than 85% of them come from one of these countries, such as Germany and Norway. Moreover, majority of them fall in one of these 3 demographic segments, with families and couples forming the main customer groups of the zoo. However, I will be focusing on the family segment today to show you how we will develop a very targeted initiative for each target segment. So for families, what they seek when they travel is fun activities for their children, as well as shared experiences for the entire family. We then also looked at how we can more effectively reach out to these tourists by understanding some of the key trends. So first, we took a look at how do they travel and realized that the majority of them come to Denmark by air. In particular, there is high tourist traffic at the Copenhagen airport. So our first promotional activity looks at the launch of an exhibition at the Copenhagen airport. Then we also took a look at what do tourists do when they travel and realized that majority of them are leisure travelers who enjoy shopping, sightseeing, and dining. So our second promotional activity looks at the tie-ups with travel-related services. So looking at the exhibition at the Copenhagen airport, it will run for a 3-week period and showcase a different theme each time. So for example, we could have an exhibition on conservation. These exhibitions will also embody the company's key objectives. For example, for scientific aspect, we will have informative panels that will showcase the zoo's conservation efforts. Then, to deliver recreational value, we can have 3D screening of animals in their natural habitats. Also, it's important to deliver educational benefits, and these can be done through the distribution of brochures to educate the public on conservation. Then our second promotional activity look at how we can actually utilize tourist services to promote the zoo. So we looked at areas which are highly popular among tourists. For example, for hotels, we will link up with family hotels in Denmark, such as the Crown Plaza, and through a commission structure, we can incentivize these hotels to promote the zoo whenever tourists actually ask them where should we visit within Copenhagen or Denmark. Other key areas of interest include travel agencies as well as dining outlets. So both promotional activities will actually occur throughout the entire year to ensure that we have constant contact between the zoo as well as tourists. However, we recognize that Copenhagen Zoo also faces another important problem, which is the seasonal fluctuations during the year in terms of their visitor arrivals. Hence, it's important that we encourage tourists to visit the zoo during the off-peak period, which is winter. And how we intend to do this is through the launch of Winter Wonderland at Copenhagen Zoo. This will run throughout winter, from November all the way to February, and events during this period will remain focused on delivering both public education as well as delivering unique experiences. We also intend to create value for the tourists during winter in 3 ways. Firstly, to keep them warm while we tour the zoo. Secondly, ensuring fun for the entire family. And lastly, allowing these visitors to also enjoy the festival celebrations while they're at the zoo. So for example, one of our activities is hike in style. So we provide visitors with synthetic hikes that they can wear while they tour around the zoo. So this will not only keep them warm, but also mimic the way in which animals stay warm in winter. So our winter events would directly smoothen out the seasonality effects by increasing visitors during the winter periods. Our promotional activities are also important to ensure we see increase in visitors throughout the other parts of the year. So now let's take a look at the implementation of our strategies.
To ensure a successful rollout of our strategy, we have designed a 5-year implementation timeline to serve as a blueprint for timely management of the strategy when it's being applied by Copenhagen Zoo. Our strategy involves key performance indicators pegged to this strategy that will allow you to see substantial progress along the way, as well as to make alterations to the strategy if needed. Now that we've walked you through the strategy, let's take you through the financial impact that this strategy will have. Today, the Copenhagen Zoo has come to us with an intent to be free, to be independent, with more than 16 million Danish kroner worth of government subsidies. That is an equivalent of more than 300 million revenue. We know that this is a difficult challenge, for it involves introducing more than 2.8 million new visitors per year. And with capacity constraints, we believe that this is almost impossible. Furthermore, the Copenhagen Zoo does not want to compromise on service quality, and we believe that this is not where we should head. Instead, we need to couple more visitors with a higher visitor spending per visitor in order to reach our goal. In addition to that, we see that there is high constraints surrounding the Copenhagen Zoo, thus we will not embark on a strategy that involves heavy expense or capex. As you can see here, our strategy will provide improvements on contributions on all fronts. We will first unlock the value that your merchandise store has, a potential that has yet been tapped. We will induce higher spending per visitor, but not only that, we will not only allow them to take away our merchandise, but will allow them to take away an experience, be part of the zoo, and continue to be engaged later on. And this will induce repeated visits over the year and eventually a successful revenue stream. Tourist potential is also one of the areas we see that's highly successful, and we'll be able to unlock that through our strategy. The king penguin is a very interesting creature. It has accelerated maturity. At the age of 3, the king penguin begins to breed, and like our strategy, we will deliver to you the benefits in a short period of time. These strategic targets will be achieved in a short period of 3 to 5 years, delivering to you the golden egg that this king penguin is trying to achieve.
We thank you for your time, and we're now ready to take questions from the floor.
And on that note, I think we'll leave it to the jury.
Dive straight into the financials. Can you talk a little bit into the link between the implementation plan, where at least some of the activities only launched in 15, but the relatively rapid ramp up of financial impact?
All right. So first, to move to the previous slide with the income, let me take a look at slide. Sorry, it's a delay. Okay, maybe I'll talk while technical difficulties are being solved. So as you can see, most of our income arrives from our store revenue from this chart. And we believe that this is highly implementable within the first year. Our implementation timeline indicates that a big part of our strategy is heavily relying on store revenues. And how will we do that? Let me walk you through the revenue model. So revenue model on slide 47, sorry, touch screen technology. Revenue model on slide 47 shows that our assumption involves firstly 40% of the children being purchasers of the point. If you look at many of the tourist attractions all over the world, especially Disneyland, most tourists go into Disneyland and spend almost as much as they spend on a ticket. And this is what we intend to do. We'll increase children visitation through the Furry Friend program. And in turn, we will also introduce the Furry Friend program to induce purchase of the toy. The purchase of the toy, as we can see, from store revenues, has 3 tiers. And these 3 tiers will induce revenue in the first year, introduction of 6 million Danish kroner in revenue. Take-up rate, as shown, we believe that the tier 2 will involve more than 30% of children taking up the tier 2 toy. Because of the latter, it provides us an engagement that children love. So I hope that answers your question.
You have decided to target tourists probably much more than the locals, local Danes. Have you considered that sitting in a plane or sitting in a hotel in Copenhagen, it may be a little bit late actually to have these tourists to change their schedule and to go to visit the zoo? And what considerations have you done when it comes to attracting more local visitors?
So maybe we can go through some of our assumptions again. So just going back to revenue model, for example. Okay, tourists is a highly lucrative pool that we're looking at. However, we have very conservative estimates when integrating this into our model. We believe that a large part of our strategy still involves increasing frequency of existing visitor base visiting Copenhagen Zoo. So one of our assumptions is right now we see that in most parts of the world, children between the age of 0 to 12 visit the zoo about 1.5 times only in this age group. We want to increase this to 2 times. And 2 times is actually a figure that many successful zoos like the Singapore Zoo has. So as for tourists, we are planning to grow that. And my colleague will take you through that.
So actually, So in our marketing plan, we believe that even though we're not directly actually targeting the local tourists, but we actually believe that there will be spillover effects from the initiatives that we want to promote. So in the My Furry Friend program, we'll also be looking at social media outreach, print ads, which will also be able to reach the local tourists even before they actually visit, and they'll actually be able to help us to raise visibility of these events and still help us to reach out to these tourists. Also through our social media engagement, actually tourists can actually know about the zoo even before they come to the zoo, and hence that would help them to actually plan it in their itinerary beforehand. Also, I talked about how we can have tie-ups with travel services such as the tourist tour agencies. So these tour agencies, what they would do is to help incorporate our Copenhagen Zoo into their itineraries for visits to Copenhagen.
I love your penguin analogy, but a bit more along the same lines as the previous question, because it's interesting to try to attract more of the international tourists, but have you considered whether the cost benefit actually adds up? For instance, you promote an exhibition at the Copenhagen airport, which is by far the most expensive place to have exhibitions in Denmark. Does this add up in the cost benefit?
Okay, so when we actually advertise within the zoo, what we get is publicity. So even though people do not visit the zoo at this very visit, we actually raise the awareness of the zoo. And the other benefit that we are looking at achieving is also the educational benefit that we talked about. We don't just look at wanting to attract people to visit the zoo, but also promote this awareness of conservation as well as animal welfare.
To factor in the high cost of targeting tourists, we have actually differentiated the tourist profit margins from the normal visitor. A normal visitor profit margin is approximately 5%. We plan to raise that to 8 through higher store merchandise purchase. A tourist profit margin is factored to be about only 2%, and this is because we'll rechannel all the costs to market it very heavily, and we also still have a 50% profit sharing agreement with the stakeholders, as mentioned, the hotels, to continually target these tourists over the years. We believe that maybe on the cost front, it seems a little heavy, but we believe the word of mouth effect that tourists can create is one that will help you grow sustainably in very long term.
Just want to understand your revenue model, because you assume that the average card holder will return 5 times a year. And then you assume in the children visitor strategy that they will visit, the frequency will go up from 1.5 to 2. Although children today by far are the biggest visiting group. So that is one thing I just want to understand, is that cardholders without children? And secondly, have you considered the spend or price point for the cardholders when it adds up? How does that compare to, for example, the experience from Tivoli on their tour pass? How much would the family spend on a trip 5 times a year?
So, just to answer the first question about children coming back to the park, and as well as whether they'll be able to afford the merchandise in store. We believe that much of the purchasing power when gone to a zoo largely lies in the hands of the parents. And we believe that the trend today is many parents tend to spend more discretionary income on their children than other things else in life. We see that 40% is actually a very conservative estimate already, considering that most of the visitors to the Copenhagen Zoo are people that lie above the Denmark median income. Hence, the Denmark median income compared relatively to our products, which are charged at between 200 Danish kroner for the average product, is for a one-time visit to the zoo a year. That's actually considered very, very conservative. Moreover, we also have the annual card subscription. That is a pricey product. But what we're offering is adoption of the animal coupled with cards and books and a personalized service with the children via the personalized letters over the years at a price of the equivalent of the annual card. We believe that this is a highly compelling offering that we're offering to the parents, and there's a high possibility they'll pick it up, and hence the 40% assumption.
Thank you very much for a well done and very well executed presentation. My question also relates to the P&L. Sorry, we keep coming back to that. You have a lot of activities that you initiate and you drive to drive the revenue, and I agree there's some questions on the revenue model and these assumptions. We covered that. How do you expect to drive that when you, as far as I can read your figures, you stay flat at a very low level on both staff and not least on marketing?
So we believe that right now most of the cost that goes into the Copenhagen Zoo involves firstly staff costs, largely to do with the animal experts in the zoo, as well as a lot of maintenance costs for the animals. we believe that going forward, we are not planning to expand aggressively on these fronts. We're not going to build a new Arctic Circle. We're not going to build a new elephant house. Instead, what we'll be doing is to focus and divert the cost structure into these programs. And that's how we believe that we can be sustainable in the long run. So that's one. Secondly, your other question relates to the revenue and how can this be sustainable, yes. So as mentioned, a large part of our revenue going forward will be driven by the store. We believe that the store presents an extremely lucrative opportunity that's yet to be tapped. Because if we could consider the merchandise in the store, we have an average potential profit margin of between 70 to 90%, depending on the merchandise, and generally we're referring to the stuffed toys here. And we believe that that will be able to drive the profit forward, given enhancement in the profit margins of these products.
My question goes more towards the marketing, so the specific USP. So in the quality learning interactive experience, what is it that's truly unique in your proposition?
Okay, just to clarify, so you're asking how does this unique proposition differ from the other zoos?
Yes.
Okay, so we have did research on the other zoos in the world. And yeah, okay, as you can see on your right-hand side, we have seen most of these zoos, they differentiate themselves based on open concepts or variety of animals. None of these zoos actually promote their educational aspects as well as having a strong team of scientists. So we can see that Copenhagen Zoo, having a strong scientific team, will really differentiate themselves through this educational program. And personally, when we were on the tour, we can really feel that the tour guide actually knows his stuff, and when he was explaining to us, we felt really educated. So I believe through this proposition and through our marketing, and through our educational aspect, we can really differentiate the Copenhagen Zoo from the rest of the other more attractive zoos in terms of recreation.
And just to add on quickly, it's not enough to just have a strong value proposition and unique selling point. It needs to be communicated to the core customer groups as well. And we believe that we have actually addressed that through our recommendations. We've also looked at targeted approaches through our communications to communicate the educational value through our tours. And also through the My Furry Friends program, we're looking at incorporating the educational element through the interactions with the animals and also through the books and the meet and greet sessions.
If we look at your strategy and we were to pressure test it, you have a lot of initiatives, but what is the initiative that simply cannot go wrong here if you are going to meet your revenue and profit target?
So we definitely believe that in terms of prioritizing our recommendations, we'll be looking at focusing mostly on the My Furry Friends program, because this is where the bulk of our revenue streams are actually going into. And also we believe that this is the core part of the business, targeting the core group of customers that we've always been reaching out to and communicating to. And this will help us to actually protect our margins and help us to achieve a very resource-light strategy.
I have a question about the risk profile of your loyalty program. The loyalty program is very much built on the adaptation of the animal, at least in the feeling sense of the word. It's very emotional, you even highlight that. What will happen the day when the science part that you also emphasize tells us that we need to euthanize another animal, maybe one of the adopted ones? What's going to happen to the whole loyalty program after that? Do you have any suggestions on that?
So this is definitely the biggest risk that we've identified in our recommendation, the poor take-up rate of the Furry Friends program. We believe that the first thing that we'll definitely do to react to and respond to this is to increase our marketing efforts to raise the awareness of this. But at the same time, we'll definitely look at adjusting the pricing strategy in the case that the prices are actually not sufficient.
Yeah, to add on, I believe the key reason why people are not very acceptive of the euthanization of the animal is because they are not educated. So through our marketing initiatives, we are able to tell people why exactly we are doing all this, and then once they get to understand, they will see things from our perspective as well.
To add on to that, we believe that using the personalized letters is a different method of allowing the kids to really understand what is going on in the operations. Imagining the animal communicating to the kid the pure reason for the euthanization and the right reason that the zoo is doing it, we believe that this will create a different angle, a more positive angle to this whole utilization topic. And hence we believe that this program is actually tremendously well guarded in that area.
In your income statement, you have a line with private income that you kept stable throughout. Can you comment on that?
Yes. So we believe that private income actually attributes to mostly donations that are currently coming into the zoo, as well as the foundations and sponsorships that the zoo currently have. The reason why we kept that flat is with the fact that we believe that the current problem we face is our over-reliance on government subsidies. We do not want a business model to be overly reliant on any key stakeholder and eventually lose that stakeholder, and we're faced with that problem again. However, we have also considered other strategies to continue to target corporate sponsorships. One of the key strategies that we have actually considered is a corporate adoption that's more unique to helping the corporate partner promote their brand. So one example is in Singapore. We have a brand, Tiger Balm, and what we have here is actually the adoption of the white tigers in the Singapore Zoo, and they have the large. Okay, sorry.
And now, the jury members will leave the room in order to deliberate. To the rest of you, this implies that in 35 minutes' time, the jury will return, and with them, the decision of this year's winners. While we await this exciting piece of information, we have a few things lined up for you. To those of you who have attended the finals before, know that we usually have this surprise live act, and this year is no exception. But before we get to that, we have been assigned with an important task to fulfill. That is, we are to vote for the recognition of the best presenter among the finalist teams. I'm confident that the majority of you in here knows what makes a good presenter. To me, it's hard to pin it down on one exact word, but in lack of a better, I would say that the presenter should be enthusiastic, passionate in his or her communication. However, the delivery and the message is important as well. But these students we have here today are some of the most talented students from all over the world that have trained so intensively towards this day here, that what really sets them apart is their drive on stage. Proceeding with the voting, in front of you, you will have some clickers, which we will use to cast the votes. Given the number of buttons on your clickers, we will present each team on separate slides. You are only allowed to vote once. So if your favorite presenter is not among the first or the second pack, please make sure to keep your vote until the third pack comes on the slide. Let's get to it. From Team X, we have the following presenters. If your favorite presenter is among one of these students, please click on the corresponding button on your clickers. You'll have 10 seconds to do so. IT department need to agree on that one. Great. And from Team Y, we have these. And lastly, from NUS, these are the four students. Thank you. We will present the results just before we announce the winners of the actual case competition. The next feature on stage, some of you may know from television, as he has many of his own shows. Maybe you even went to one of his one-man shows. The show will revolve around psychology. And I've been told that he's allegedly able to read one's mind, or even make one think exactly what he wishes one to think. I, for one, as a student, frequently having exams and visiting Nexus, can think of a number of different situations where such capabilities would find itself utmost advantageous and useful. On that note, and with the alluring learning opportunity ahead, I do not think Mr. Henrik Swain here needs any further introduction. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Henrik, and I've got the pleasant opportunity to come and do a little bit of entertainment. Some of you who were here last year maybe saw my twin brother here, pretty much like me. And I'm going to do a little entertainment, combination of some psychology, a little bit of magic, a little bit of different things, maybe hypnosis, we don't know. And before we start, I brought with me today a little thing. It's a pet for luck, like this. Almost not as big as that one, but got it anyway. I might just put it here. Yeah? Okay, since I've had that one, all my shows have gone really, really great. And so what we're going to do now, which we haven't done yet of any of my shows, is we're going to name that ice bear. The big one, but the small one. And then, what we're going to do is that, let's see, why this pen doesn't work. Let's just see, I'm going to point to maybe right here. The lady sitting like this. What is your name? Alex. Alex? Ah, doesn't work. What's the other one? Alex? Yeah. It's going to work like this. I'm just going to take maybe here, like that. Okay, it's going to be like this. Here is a pad. Nothing on it. Yeah? I'm going to make 4 lines. Just going to make, let's say, 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 lines. This ice bear has to have 4 letters in the name, yeah? I'm going to give you the pad, and what I want you to do, I want you on the first line to write what you think the first letter in that ice bear's name should be, yeah? And you're going to write what you think is the second letter in the ice bear, you're going to write the 3rd letter and the 4th. Over here, yeah, it's going to be 4 letters altogether. And it's going to work like this. If you think the first letter should be a P, that's fine. But don't say the second letter should be a P also, and then repeat and then 4th P, because then we're going to say, what does that mean, okay? It doesn't have to be an X, Y, Z, W either, okay? You have to be able to pronounce it. So that's the only thing. And if one person has used a letter, please do not take the same letter, okay? And then a little bit later, we must be able to see what you wrote, so no clumsy writing. That means you have to concentrate, my friend. Yeah, great. Okay, so do that, and step from that, I got a little envelope. This envelope has a prediction. Predict something, I'm just going to put it here. And then I'm going to take a frisbee somewhere. Frisbee. Should have a frisbee. Yes. And everybody, if you take your arms up, like this, I'm going to throw this frisbee. If you catch it, please give it to a lady close to you. So arms up. Somebody catch this? Oh, in the middle. Right. The guy with the camera, yeah? Give it to a lady, yes? And what is your name? Sophie, you're Danish, where you from? Yeah? Great. And you know what we're gonna do? Not really. Can you come up here and give her a hand? Okay. Just gonna get this. Yeah. Okay. I was looking for the mic. I think where is it? But thank you very much. Okay. Hi. So Sophie, stand here. We're gonna do something, the two of us, that is gonna be really fantastic. Yeah? Maybe some other young men said the same ones, where it was not true. I mean, yeah. Different, okay? Different. Okay, have you got some letters? Yeah, you got some letters. Just for interest, is any of the letters a J, like J as Jacob? Is any of the letters a J? Yeah, one of them? Oh, great. Just interest. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna imagine, you know Copenhagen? Great, so we're going to speak into this?
Yes.
Great. So we imagine that we are going on a little tourist trip. Yeah? And this tourist trip is starting in central Copenhagen, and we have a little map, and I have the map of Copenhagen with tourist attractions here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's invisible, but we imagine we can see it. And what color is it? Same color?
Blue.
Correct. Okay, so it's this blue map, and we are going to a tourist attraction. Which one do you think we should go to?
Copenhagen Zoo.
Yeah! What a great place! So we walk there and we walk inside, and as you can see, there's many places to go. Yeah? So first it says go left or right on the map. What do you think?
Right.
Okay, so we just walk right. And then, after walking a little bit, suddenly there are like 3 roads dividing, and then there are animals on each 3 directions. Then, and then I flip the map, and I say, here you can visit this animal, or that animal, okay? And you look down, and you just think of one of the animals, and then think, okay, we're going to walk towards that. But don't say the animal out loud, just keep it in your head. Have you done it?
Yeah.
So we're going to close the map, and okay, you came up here because the frisbee was somehow in the middle, and then somebody gave it to you. And then you said, we're going to go with this blue map, we're going to go to the right and the right. So now I said, pick an animal, only one street. So you have an animal in your head, and you haven't forgot?
Nope.
Great. Great. So then tell me what animal you picked, so everybody can hear it.
A parrot.
A parrot? Yeah. That's a great one. I like it. Do you want to change to another animal, or are you happy with that? No? You want to have it? Yeah. You have with the parrot. Okay. And when you came down here, you had no idea what we were supposed to do.
No.
Great. Because I had a little prediction. Can you remember? It looks like this. Prediction. It's like it should be a question mark, but I thought let's make a set for Sue instead. In here there should be a piece of paper. Looks like this. And then you said the blue map. Go to the right. You're gonna go here, and we're gonna go and watch at the parrots. You said you want to change to another animal, and you said no. But you could have changed if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got the parrot! Yeah! Okay. Okay, great. So, yes, okay, yes. So, what we're going to do now is I need another person up here. We need probably, by the way, I forgot to say something. Right here in the first row, what's your name? Casper. Your job is, during the show, to look at this iceberg over here. The small one. Yeah? The small one. Not the big, but the small one. Nobody should come in and steal it or change it. You will not see the rest of the show, because you have to look here. This camera is taking a picture of me from behind. It's like, bling, bling, bling. Why? Okay. Please look here. Yeah, Casper, you won't see much of the show from now on, but it's okay. Yeah. I'm going to throw this to the audience in a moment, and then I want somebody to give it to the nearest male person. Yeah? Arms up. Let's try this time. Here? Yeah. Give it to a man, any man that is, okay, up here. My friend, do you need glasses for reading? No. You don't need glasses for reading, even though it's small letters in a phone book? You won't need them? Okay, come down here. I'll just take the phone book over here. Give him a hand. Okay, so, great. And your name? Your name? Gabriela. Where are you from? Italy. Italy, okay. You came all the way from Italy just to see me? Okay, here is a phone book of a place called Viborg. Ever heard of it? No. It's a place in Denmark, a little bit away from here. In a moment, I want you to just go down to one of the first seats, maybe the one available right there, yeah? With this phone book, yeah? And the microphone, yeah? And then I'm gonna ask somebody to open this page, phone book to a page, and you're gonna open and that page they see. So if they say 864, you're opening 64. Yeah. Before we do this, I saw a program in television. It was about memorization techniques. There was a guy, he could, if you took 5 decks of cards, shuffle them, he could remember the order, like in 2 minutes or so, yeah? There was a guy who could tell the number pi, I think, 3.14 and so, he would say all the digits, like, for the next hour. So I thought, is that really possible, or are they a little strange inside their head? Or is it possible to practice that? So that's what we're going to try to do with this phone book, yeah? We're going to go with all the addresses, that will be these ones with all the numbers. So, yeah. And when you open to a page, I will try to say some of the numbers. Maybe also the street names. So this one will be this street, this one will be this street name. Yeah? And here will be this street name. We're going to try, okay? And if you do something sneaky, I will just change the rules. Yeah? Okay. So it starts at 8:29 and it goes to 1029, just say. Take this and please speak clearly into this. And your job is to tell the audience if I'm saying something that is correct or wrong. Yeah? Great. So I'm going to point to somebody. Just going to point to the guy with the glasses. Yeah. We need a number. Any number from 829 to 1029. It's a page number we are looking for. What page number do you want?
1010.
1010. Great. Please open to page 1010. Tell me when you've got it.
Got it?
I like you. You have to look at the sides, but you've done it. Whenever I have looked at you, you've been looking over here. I like you for that. You have 1010? Yeah. Great. If you look at the very first person on that page,
yeah.
Actually, see if I can remember. He's called Barman or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barman.
And his phone number is 86.
Yeah.
39. No, 69. 69.
Okay.
Yeah. 02.
Yeah.
67. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the neighbor, the guy just under him.
Yeah.
His name is Sørensen in Danish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his phone number is 86.
Yeah.
69. 02 again and 42.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. And you might think, well, you have to have a very good memory to do this effect. Actually, you don't. You just need to eat these biscuits. Yeah. If you eat these biscuits, you will answer most questions. Yeah. Which is great when you go to exams and stuff like that. Okay. If you look at the page, please pick a street. I don't know if you can the same page, but pick a street. You know, the one with bold letters?
Okay.
Can you just try to say it in Danish or English or whatever?
Toftumvej.
Toftumvej? That's pretty close. Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah, not bad. I think there is more than one Toftumvej. I think there's 3 actually. Which one of them do you want? Is Toftumvej? Please help him, somebody.
Who's?
What? Is it first, second, or third?
Okay, Sørensen.
Third Toftumvej. Okay? Pick a number, the bold ones on the side, a house number. Understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which number do you want? There's only one on this one, isn't there?
10.
Yeah, number 10. And there is number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the person living in number 10 is. Let's just think. Pedersen, I think?
Yeah.
Andersen.
No.
No?
Pedersen.
What, can you tell the street name again?
Toftenvej.
Toftenvej?
Toftenvej.
Toftenvej. Is it the street?
Yeah.
Can you please help me? Somebody? And you're still on page 1010?
Yeah, it is Toftenvej. But it's the second Toftenvej.
Oh, you're on second Toftenvej. Ah, that's wrong. Okay. And that is Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his number is 97, 54, 10.
Yeah.
And the last one is, there's something with 3.
Yeah.
39.
Yeah.
It's true?
That's right.
Great. Okay. Okay. Yes. We're going to use this once more. Then we have to have a person out eating a biscuit. Pretty interesting. And then we're going to do the last one after that. I would ask somebody in here, is there anyone, if they call, not you, you have to look here. You forgot now. Look at the iceberg. Anyone that knows somebody, it's probably going to be the Danish people. It doesn't have to be the Danish people. Anyone that knows somebody that if we call them right now, Friday afternoon, 4:37, there's a big chance they will pick up the phone. I will stand here until somebody says yes. So please know, it could be a brother, sister, mom, dad, it could be kids. They should be older than 14 and not more than 70 years old, I say. Anyone? Yeah, guy, who's that? Who do you know?
That's my good friend Salomon.
Your good friend. Is he Danish?
He is Danish.
How is his English?
Good.
Good. You're gonna go up, you're gonna call him up there in the corner. You're gonna tell him that in about 5-10 minutes from now, he's gonna get a phone call. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? He doesn't know what it's about, but don't tell him he has to be at the phone. Yeah. If this guy's friend doesn't pick up the phone, please somebody else think of who you could call. Yeah? Okay, we're gonna do the last one. We're gonna flick to another page, right here. Say a page. Between 8:35 and 10:30.
9:29.
9:29. 9:29. Yeah. Yeah, you're there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take the first person. Or maybe, yeah. The first person on the page is Sørensen. Jørgensen.
Yeah.
32.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
75.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, can you please come here again? We need to have somebody to eat a biscuit because maybe you think it's not the biscuits, but it is. Yeah. So you can help me on another one. We're gonna go to this, and we're gonna go to a street that starts. There's somebody that starts with W. You want Valstedtsvej or Vålesøjen? One or two. Vålesøjen. Yeah. Okay. Everybody that has Danish first language, raise your hand.
Yeah.
Can you do it again? Hands up. What about the guy with the what's your name? Alex. Okay. Do you ever been in Viborg? Do you know Vålesøjen?
Not really.
Not really. Great. There is 4 persons there. Number 1, 3, 4, and 5. No number 2 for some reason. What do you want to go with? 1, 3, 4, and 5. 3. There's a guy called Milner. Ever heard of him? It's not your brother, sister, or anything? Not that you know of. That's great. So this is the guy we're going with. Milner, in number 3 in Vålesøjen. I want you to take this and go down here. And my friend Alex, I want you to come up here and give him a hand. Okay, you just need the other biscuits. Hello? Hi, if you stand here. So you have no microphone now. So if you want, so you just have to speak loud. Yeah? In a moment, if we just take the first 5 numbers in that, the first 5 numbers in this is 86.
Yeah.
67.
Yeah.
And a 5. Okay, great. So I'm gonna need a little help. So have you got any ideas what those last 3 numbers in that phone number is? I mean, you haven't got a biscuit yet, so you can guess as free as you want.
No.
You have no idea. Yeah, just give it any number between 0 and 1,000.
500.
500?
500.
Yes or no? Is that correct?
No.
It's not correct. Okay. Well, it would be pretty good if you did it. I just throw with the biscuits in. Okay. In a moment, Alex, I want you to take a biscuit, and then I want you to take a little bite, And same as when you're drinking red wine, don't just finish like in one go. No, no, no. Just a little bit, and then you let the biscuit around in your mouth, you know? Yeah? And it's almost, hopefully, as you're getting wiser. Okay? So you're gonna take it here. Go, look, you can close your eyes if you want when you do it, but it's up to you. So just take a little bite. Yeah? Maybe you don't want the same biscuits as the one I ate. But you maybe said that one. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's my fault, sorry. So, just be very, very honest. Is it so that it's almost like you're getting a little bit wiser than when you...
I'm much smarter now.
Much smarter. You can feel it, that's great. The two things can happen. You can answer something wrong, which is okay. I might just have to guess what I think it is. You can also be correct. They will all love you for that. They will also hate you because they have no idea how the hell you did it. Okay? So what do you think about the 500 you said before? Is that too high or too low?
Too high.
Too high. Is it lower than...
Yeah, is it lower?
Yeah, okay. Do you want to go a guess for what you think the first digit is? Can you say it loud, if you want to go guess? No?
0.
0?
Yeah.
It's true?
Yeah.
Not bad. Take a little bite. Take some more. One more. The guy who went up and called somebody, he took the phone? Great, we love him. Do you want to go with the last two also, or do you want to... What do you think?
Yeah, let's guess.
Do you have a guess?
Yeah.
What do you think?
86.
Right.
It's correct! Good! I mean, how lucky is that, huh? Okay, in a moment, which is now, we are just going to call that person up there, but that's not before we do that, we have to look at what name you picked over here. I'm going to give the last person this pad and this pen, yeah? In a moment, I want you to write the 4 letters that you chose, but do not write them until I ask you to. You understand that? And yeah, that's more or less it. When you write them, hold it secretly, but when I ask you to, please hold it up like that. They should be able to see it in the back of the room. That means big letters, yeah? Whatever the letters are. Yeah? Don't show me, don't show anyone. Just take this and be ready to write. Not yet. Okay, if you take and combine 4 letters and do it randomly, there is 646,000 different ways. It's 28 times 28 times 28 times 28, yeah? Okay, let's go with somebody. What about the lady not looking here? Yeah, you look Danish without being sure, are you? Yes. You good with animals?
Not really.
Yes, you are. Come up here, give her an applause. Hi. And the microphone, still got it? Or you got it back? Okay. And oh yeah, the phone. Thank you very much. I think I see Lars here. Hi Lars. Everything fine? Yeah. What are you doing here, man? Okay, so can you hold this? I'll just take the bear. I get close to it. I'll take my chance without getting bite of this big fellow over there. Okay, so if you hold it like this, yeah, and we come in here to the light, you're pretty happy that nobody went over there and chased it or anything, yes? Okay, the thing is, when I bought this bear, the day after, I went into a place where they made name badges and stuff like that, and I had this in my arm. And he said, this is an interesting one. What are you using that for? And I said, it's for logging my shows. He says, has it got a name? I said, no. He says, do you want it to have a name? I said, yes. And he says, I have a very special offer. If you buy a name badge, you can get a free engraving in the name badge. I said, I'm going to do that. So I got the name badge, I got a free engraving, 4 letters. I said, just pick 4 random letters, put them in. Yeah? So please, if you look at the, you can see that there should be a name badge, and there is 4 letters, yes or no, and you can read them without glasses on. Don't say them, just say if there's 4 letters. Yes? And when I say that it's engraved, then I mean it is into the metal, like if it was a ring. It's not written with a marker, it's engraved into the metal.
Yes.
It doesn't come off if you do that or anything.
No.
Great. In a moment, you've written something? Please do now. Yeah. In a moment, I want you to say what you think this sounds like, and after that, I want you to say the letters one at a time. Yeah? And hopefully we got them, okay? Personally, I'm pretty happy with 3 out of 4, but it's okay, just me. Just to put the expectations a bit lower. You got 4 letters? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So please say what 4 letters is engraved in that. Can you say it? The name?
Jens.
It doesn't work. Can you, hey. Don't shake it. I'm not sure that works. Maybe we switch it off, like that. I push this maybe. Say it to this.
Jens.
And can you see the letters?
J-E-N-S.
Michelle? Yeah. Hey, hey. Don't go yet, don't go yet, don't go yet. I'm gonna give you this little name badge. So if anyone want to come and see, you can show them, okay? It is. Yeah, thank you very much. Anyone can fix this thing? Try to, I'm not sure which button it is because we need it. Okay, so we're gonna do the last thing. We got the guy with the, yeah, and we can do it now. If you come up here. I got another 5-10 minutes about that, and let's finish. Thank you for helping. Okay. Yes, thank you for that. And your name? Helle. Helle. Okay, Helle. We're gonna do it like this. It works or it doesn't work? Okay. It's not my fault. It's her. It works now. Great. Okay. So Helle, can you hold this in a moment? So it's going to work like this. In a moment we're going to call your friend, yeah? And we're going to do a little manipulation effect, a little thing of, yeah, making him to say something special, yeah? And I'm just going to take a marker here, this one, and I'm just going to point to somebody, I'm just going to point to the guy scratching here. Can you say a 2-digit number? Any 2-digit number, any number from 10 to 100? What? 17. 17. That's one of the difficult ones, you know? Okay, 17. It's gonna work like this. In a moment we're gonna call Pelle, and no, not you, Pelle, your friend, and then we're gonna try to make him say that number. Yeah? If I cannot do that, or actually you're gonna do it, so if you cannot do that, or we cannot do it together, I'm gonna take about 3 months payment in my business. It's maybe 4 months, it's 200 kroner, yeah? And you put them in your pocket, just put them down. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, and it's gonna work like this. I just need to know a few things about your friend before we start. And it was a guy. What's his name?
Salmon.
Okay,
Salmon.
He has to be close to Salmon, yeah? And do you know how old he is?
He is 20.
20? 20? Yes. Great. What's he doing?
He is a student of international business and politics and works at the career office. Career center.
Okay, career. Also a little bit of advertising there also. Yeah, great. Career center, yeah. Okay. And should I say anything else? Has he got any interests like sports or?
He's a big Chelsea fan.
Chelsea fan. That's probably good for this. Okay, I will do that. Okay, so it's gonna work like this. In a moment, we're gonna call up your friend. You got your phone on you? Yeah, great. We're gonna call up your friend. Can you take it up? There should be a loudspeaker on it. We're gonna put on the loudspeaker, and then not yet. And then we're gonna take the microphone to the loudspeaker. The iPhone is underneath. This one is maybe on top. We're gonna figure it out. And then you're gonna say something to him, which is very important. You're gonna tell him, my friend, whatever you say. You say, imagine you're in a forest. You got a lot of threes. Yeah. You're looking at a 3. On that 3, there's a 2-digit number.
Yeah.
What number? Yeah.
And I say it in English?
Yes, please.
Okay.
If you say, hey, Salomon, it's a number, it's between 10 and 100, what is it? It's maybe the same for you, but not for me. So you have to say 2-digit number. 2-digit number. If you remember that, it will be fine. In a forest, there's a 3. Let's say he says, very easy, 22, which is not the one we're looking for. We're going to give him one more try. There's 2, okay? Yes. And then you just say, hey, look at another 3, the number was wrong. Look at another 3, imagine a 2-digit number. What do you think it is? Yeah? I might just talk a little bit with him before we start. Sounds interesting? Or crazy? You don't know? Yeah, both. Let's try. It works. So, please pick it up. And on the microphone, speaker, yeah, try to put it. Everybody that can hear that, please take up your arm. Yes.
Hey Salomon.
Hej Salomon. Vi tager den lige på engelsk, den her. We're going to do it in English, Salomon. Can you hear me?
Yes, who is it?
Yes, my name is Henrik, and everybody can hear him? Yeah, okay. Salomon, my name is Henrik, and I'm doing a show at the CBS, a little entertainment show, a little bit about manipulation and stuff like that. And I asked your friend Pelle, I didn't ask him, I asked everybody, do you know somebody? And he said that we could call you. So that's the situation. Great. And maybe you think, okay, my friend, he's gone crazy. It's a little bit early on a Friday, but he's probably already drunk. He met some strange guy on the street, and they just are calling me just to do some funny stuff. No. We are at CBS, we are in a place here, I would say there's probably about 7,000-8,000 people in this room. Please, yeah! Not quite 7,000, but close. Could you hear them?
Yes, I could.
Yes, and everybody can hear what you're saying because we have a microphone underneath the telephone. That means do not say something you don't want the other 6,000 to hear. Okay? But thank you very much for paying attention. Yeah? You're gonna speak with your good friend Peter now.
Okay, hi Salomon. Imagine that you're in a forest and you're looking at a tree.
Yes.
And there's a 2-digit number on that tree. What 2-digit number is that?
Should I say it to you now? Or think of it?
Yes, say it.
It's 7 and 2.
72?
Yes, 72.
It's a guess. It's not the one we're looking for though. But it was a guess. It was a nice start. I told them that you had another one actually, 2 goes. So
yeah, you have another go. You're looking at another tree, and you see another 2-digit number. What number is that?
81.
81. Yeah. Salomon, it was a very nice guess. Both of them, 72 and 81. As I told you, as 81 was very nice. Unfortunately, not the one we were looking for. I told everybody before we called you that you're going to get 2 guesses to guess what number I put on the top of the screen, which wasn't even my number, it was somebody else's number. And what I didn't tell them was that if you screw up twice, you're going to get the last one. And because I make the rules. And I'm going to speak with you now, okay? So Salomon, I'm going to speak with you now. Forget about all this forest, 3 things. Just imagine you're walking outside on the street, and you might be biking, you might be walking, and there are some cars there. And these cars, they drive by, and what happens is that suddenly you start counting these cars. And I will tell you, there is at least 10 cars, but there's not 100, okay? So you count them and you just know how many there are, and it's somehow a number between 10 and 100. So tell me, don't say the number out loud yet, just tell me, have you got a number in your head?
I've got a number in my head, yes.
And it's not 72, and it's not 81.
No, it's not.
That's great. Okay, interesting. Uh-oh. Okay, so let me hear. That 2 things can happen. You can say the right number. I might kiss Pelle next to me. I might just hug him. Everybody in here, maybe they're gonna go crazy. Maybe they're just gonna be stunned to silence. It could also be wrong. Then probably the same will happen. They will think what happened. They'll probably not say anything either. But I will definitely let you know if you got the right number. I will tell you. So, my friends, any number between 10 and 100, what number is that?
Yes, this number is 26.
26? Yeah! Is that lucky or what? 26? I mean, how lucky is that? I'm crazy. I have a crazy question. How did you know that? You didn't know it, you just guessed it, right?
Very qualified guess.
Yeah, but it was a really good guess. And you know what? I have spoken to you for probably 4 minutes or so, and just from listening for that 4 minutes, I would say you probably age somewhere between, I would say probably around 20 years old. And you're probably a student, and Probably like to watch football, which most young men do, but I'll go with the guess anyway. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
Probably Chelsea, if I should guess. Is Chelsea also correct?
That's also correct.
Okay, Salomon, what's going to happen? You did pretty well. I'm going to count to 3. On the 2, you're all going to give him a hand because you did pretty well without knowing it. And then on 3, we're going to hang up. So thank you very much for being part of this. 1, 2. And it was going to be the last effect, man, and then that happened. Pelle, it's not your fault. You did pretty well. I might just run away or hide behind the bear and figure out how to do another one. If you said go back, and I might leave. I might take this back with me. Or just no, I'm not gonna leave. Pelle, I'm not gonna leave. Come back. I have another idea. It's not a good one, but I have an idea. Before you came, not before you came, when you came down here, I said, my friend, we need your friend to say something. I didn't say at that point what I wanted him to say, and then I said, you're gonna get something from me. What was that? 200 krona. You were all through it. You almost like it was 2,000, right? Can you pick that up, baby? Yeah? Still got them? And you haven't got any other bills down there? Or? No. Can you please take it? And if you unfold, there's a paper clip on. If you take that paper clip off, yeah, just do something with it. And then unfold twice. 1 time, 2 times, and hold still. Yes. And then please read what it says. Can you hold still? It says something. I wrote it in Danish, but it's always the same in English. Can you please say what it says?
It says check the number.
Just check the number, and it's written with big letters on the whole bill. And then there's an arrow pointing to the other side. Yeah? It is like this in Denmark and in all other countries. We got something on the bills called serial number. The serial number is not something I make up, it's not something this guy makes up, and definitely not his friend. They do it on the National Bank and they print it into the bill. Each bill have different serial numbers. If you check another bill, it have another serial number. That's a unique number. If you please unfold the bill once more and turn it over and look at the arrow, that should be 6 digits on that bill. 6 digits is the same as 3 2-digit numbers. And please tell into this microphone what the 3 2-digit numbers are.
72, 81,
and
26.
And you can look at the front row. You're correct. Yeah. My name is Henrik Schweneke. I hope you think it was interesting. I hope you have a very, very nice afternoon and evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henrik. Truly outstanding performance and something out of the ordinary. Now it is time for the jury members to enter again. Please give them a hand. This, I believe, indicates how we are moving from one part of the finals into another. This was entertainment, and I did believe I see some laughs between you. I do not know about you, but I start to get this feeling that we're now closing in on why we're here. The moments ahead of us, some of those moments I referred to in my opening words, mark them and enjoy them. However, before we reveal the winner of CBS Case Competition 2014, I have one last introduction to make. It is no secret that during the past week with case competition events, including today, I've had the pleasure and honor of introducing many great and truly outstanding personalities as well as organizations. From members of the royal family, as well as representatives of states, over heads of some of the largest businesses, to some of the most ambitious and talented young future leaders. That being said, this is perhaps the introduction that I'm most proud of giving. And this is not only because I, over the past 10 months, have had the opportunity to interact with you on a personal as well as a professional level. More importantly, I'm proud of giving this introduction because I know how dedicated you are to this project, and I know how much you care about it. Together, the next two speakers represent what in a business context would be the management team. In a CBS case competition jargon, we call them steering. To everyone else, they're simply Dina and me. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to my friends and colleagues, Dina and me.
Thank you, Troels.
We believe that the finalist presentations and solutions that you've seen here today tell a story of dedication, of talent and hard work, of the importance of close collaboration between business and academia. We are so proud to have been able to provide the playground that made this show possible here today. And we can't wait to find out who the winner is in just a bit. Because what you've also seen here today is for us the culmination of months of hard work, as well as the result of countless individuals' passion and drive for what we do, which extends far beyond the boundaries of these four walls here today.
First of all, this event is built on the vision, in people, in personal growth, but foremost, a shared goal to create lifetime experiences that shape and inspire students around the world. The amazing team effort that you've just seen unfold on the stage today, we've seen unfold every day for the past 10 months, working with the organizing committee. They are the 32 students who have poured in an estimated 12,000 hours to this project. They carry the determination, the skill, and the innovation that sets us apart and will carry this competition forward. In many ways, this final exemplifies our organization's journey. This is what business case solving is about. Setting a shared goal, a vision, creating a strategy, overcoming the obstacles, and finally executing it to perfection. We believe that talent has shown the way today. Thank you, organizers.
And second, we like to think that week 9 is a really good week to be a student in. We're so fortunate in CBS Case Competition to be supported by partners who dedicate enormous amounts of resources into creating events for the students of CBS that challenge the standards of corporate presentations. We deliver corporate events without the corporate talk. We've brought in the top executives and thereby brought the business world closer to the students of CBS. An estimated 4,000 students have participated in our events over the past few weeks. A sincere thank you for that. And a huge thank you goes out to our preferred partners, our sponsors, and our funds who help build our capabilities, and without whom this week would not have been the same.
Third, we want to spread case learnings to the masses. That is one of our core values. The everyday playground that we as organizations use should not only be limited to the team standing on the stage today.
Therefore, we've created Beat the Elite competition, our parallel competition open to all ambitious Nordic students. Naturally, this competition holds enormous potential. Imagine this, the process from opening the case to the final product of perfect presentation. That was done by no less than 85 Beat the Elite teams this year. That is a lot of brain power, and that is something that we will continue to foster and grow. What's more, the 5 finalist teams presented their solutions in front of a cheering crowd and a tough panel of judges at the Copenhagen Zoo. We'd like to thank you all for your hard work.
And last, we would like to thank our case company of 2014, Copenhagen Zoo. We are proud to be able to present a case company that is so deeply embedded in Danish culture, as well as a case that demonstrates the relevance of case solving and business acumen to indeed any, even unconventional, business models. And we hope that you in turn are proud of the contribution you have made to so many students' practical education. And the backbone of this, as well as the Beat the Elite competition today, is indeed our jury. We appreciate how demanding it is for you to take out a full day of your busy schedules, and we are most grateful. So, on behalf of everyone here today, we would like to thank you for your engagement, your tough questions, and for supporting our cause. And lastly, a special thank you goes out to the schools and participants here today. You have done an absolutely outstanding job. And you are the reason we in the organizing committee, the audience here, and the jury are able to leave today with more than we came with.
So, thank you all for making this a true lifetime experience.
So, before the CEO of Copenhagen Zoo announces the winning team, we have another very prestigious award to hand out, the award for Best Presenter. So, we would like to welcome to the stage all the finalist teams as well as their team hosts.
The winner of Best Presenter has been selected by the audience, you guys here today. We believe that you can have the best idea in the world, but if you're not able to communicate this effectively, it's worth nothing. So being able to communicate your findings in a clear, coherent, and entertaining way is really a valuable skill. And the winners today should be proud.
So, without further ado, the winner of Best Presenter, and now the lucky owner of a soulmate speaker from Japan, is Varshil Patel.
Now it is time for the moment we've all been waiting for. To introduce the winner of CBS Case Competition 2014, we introduce a man on stage who probably had a higher belief in our cause than we did ourselves. I'd like to introduce Steffen Stade, the CEO of Copenhagen Zoo.
You promised, or you wanted to deliver a lifetime experience, and I think we can all agree that you really delivered on that. But you also gave us, as Copenhagen Zoo, an opportunity to deliver that to our customers in the future. The amount of ideas that we have got will definitely bring that on to our guests and our guests in the future. But now And if this was not a competition, I would say that you've all won. But it is a competition, so I think we need to get on with it and announce the winner of the CBS Cage Competition 2014 is Wharton School of Economics.